Well, hello, 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 guys. We are live. We are live. I am waiting for my guest to come into the studio. Don't mind me, guys. I am just doing some. This is new for your girl. You know, all this techie stuff is not my forte. So we're getting in there. My trusty, dusty show producer. Okay, our guest will be with us shortly. Thank you all for joining me. I am your girl, Natania Reuben, aka the dopest nerd. And I'm coming to you live and direct from somewhere in the internet ether. And I am interviewing Chris Todd today, the publisher of the book, Kim's Lost Words. We're going to have an in depth conversation about all things the book and life and just everything, the updates of what's going on today, all types of stuff. There's so much to talk about. You guys come on in, come on in, come on in. And I can't wait for you to get here. I'm mulling around the studio, figuring all this good stuff out. If you guys are here, please comment in the chat. Let me know you're here. I have a trusty dusty show producer. She is in the background. He will be coming on shortly. How you guys doing today? How are you? How do you feel about the updated information? Everything. Like what's on your mind? Talk to me. Okay, here go my comments. I guess I have to. Hey Renee, my faithful, always with me, always sending the love. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. Hey VB, hey Dex. Hey Dex, what up? I'm gonna get back to you. I got your messages. Okay, guys, our guest is here. Hey AMB, hey Renee. I am going to add our guest in. He is backstage. Y'all have some grace and mercy with your girl because I'm new to this. This is not my forte. I want you all to put your proverbial, literal, figurative internet hands together and give an applaud for my guest, Mr. Chris Todd, publisher of the book of the year. Can you guys hear me?
Right, the drama of the year.
The drama.
Yeah.
Let me turn my mic up. Make sure you guys can hear me loud and clear. Welcome, Chris. How are you?
Hey, Natania, how are you doing?
Well, it has been a day. I am spectacular. Listen, I think I'm probably the latest one to the news. I didn't find out about the press conference and all that news until about 5:30.
I just saw it. It came up in my feed and it was like live. So Busby, he's going to be the star for the next week or so. He's going to gobble up.
Yeah.
So, it's weird timing. The book, your stuff, your stories, your podcast, it's just crazy.
I'll tell you, first and foremost, welcome to the Dopest Nerd. I am so honored to have you here. I see I have some amazing people in the audience. Leah Gordon, I love her. Lots of other people. All of you are stars. Thank you for being here with us. This is a long time coming. A long time coming. So I thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time out. I know just like my life has been a whirlwind, so has yours.
Well, yours is, I think, a longer journey and probably more intense. Mine's kind of like a big flash fire in the pan. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what's going to happen after, but yeah, look, we met a while ago, mm-hmm. and I think fate kind of brought us together.
Indeed.
And everything you've said has resonated with me. And obviously the book has been pulled down, but we'll go into that. It'll be fun. We'll get some exclusives. We had a letter from who from jail.
I got a couple of those.
Yeah.
I have a couple of those so I can relate.
Yeah. So it's just all happening kind of fast, but we'll go over it. Yeah.
It's all listen, we're going through the motions and we're doing it as it comes. So I have prepared some questions and stuff. So first and foremost, how was your day? How's your
and
day been?
also, like, did you see my text about we're not going to talk about a certain
Yes,
person?
absolutely, absolutely, I did. Yeah.
So, no, my day's it's been hard. You know, my family's a little scared, and it's just, you always feel for your kids or family, you know. And look, there could be money issues that Amazon thinks there's some issue, and there's lawsuits and threats, and so they're kind of like freezing everything. I haven't made any money from anything, so but I'm not doing it for the money. Yeah. And if I have to be that messenger, that conduit for Kim, for her friends, like whoever, like, you know, like I said before, I don't know every single ins and outs, because sources, they're not going to give you everything. They're playing, it's like a game of cat and mouse. So we obviously set the world on fire, and now Busby's he's kind of taken off like a rocket. So I'm going to kind of sit back. I'm glad to be here, and I might do a couple of shows with your good people too. So
absolutely.
We're just kind of talking, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, like I said again, you're right. And you have said things that have inspired me. And so for those of you that don't know, Chris and I met a while ago. I received a message from Chris, and I didn't know who it was from. And, you know, given the landscape of what my life has been thus far, I was a little skeptical. So I hesitated a bit, but he came in so pure and so sincere. It was like, listen, you don't know me, but I have something I think you'd like to see. And so it piqued my interest. You know, I was cautious, but cautiously optimistic. And we exchanged a few messages, and it was always so respectful, always so patient with me. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It was your manner and your way that invited me in. And I'm eternally grateful for that. And
because I respect people. Well, a lot of the people, like in Hollywood, we always, you know a lot about this. You put it in, the way you say it is brilliant. So I listen to people. I respect them. If you come with respect, they will talk to you. Like you said, you met some people that, I'm busy, I'll call you back. Like if they start doing that, you just already are rubbed the wrong way. So I knew I had to listen to your story, and I wanted to match it to what was in that chapter. That's what I was doing. So yeah, I mean, to me, this was easy. And I've dealt a lot with kind of outspoken people, will say, and even in the African-American community, I had a show that was with the Black Panthers at one time. So I understand. I grew up with this, Chuck D and Public Enemy. Like the first book I ever read after college was Malcolm X's biography. Like I always kind of, I don't say affinity, I just always felt there was something drawing me into that culture, if we say that. And, you know, people are trying to paint me as some crazy names and stuff, but it's all part of it. Like you said, it's just all part of what's going to come. So,
and listen, because we had that connection prior to the book launching and prior to people knowing who you were and all of this stuff, I can say beyond a shadow of a doubt, I can confirm you are a stand-up guy. You and I have had conversations with some people, and those people are kicking themselves right now. They're kicking themselves. What? Now, we understand the landscape of people being afraid. Just like you said, it's affecting your family. You know, some of them are displaying fear and stuff. It's totally understandable. This is not a situation that anybody willfully invites into their life. When you're in this situation, you are motivated by a passion, or you're motivated by, you know, something profound. You understand something needs to be done. And I applaud you for that, because guess what? Had I been validated and paid attention to almost 25 years ago, this long list of people that have come out already, this additional 120, some of those people would have never been violated. And that bothers me. That bothers me tremendously. It's my motivation for why I've never stopped speaking up. You know, I'm a spiritual woman. You know, I've shared that with you a lot, and everybody that knows me knows that about me. And I believe that the Bible says, cry aloud and spare not, regardless of what your affiliations is spiritually. you are commanded to speak, and silence is being complicit. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
it's yeah, because I did live through that. I mean, even though that was 99, right? I lived through that, the press, and I was kind of in my early 20s, right out of college, kind of. So I remember that very well. And it is a shame. You're right, because if he really went what he should have done and got punished, the spotlight would have been on him. He might have done 10 years, 5 years, whatever. But it may have adjusted his thinking when he got off with that. He thought he was El Chapo. Like he just kept doing this. And you saw Tony Busby, man, the things he's bringing out about casting kids and like totally another ball game right now.
Let me tell you what was profound about what he said. I watched, I didn't even get to watch the entire stream, but I did watch when he said, we are going to hold everyone accountable.
He's coming after others.
Those who protected the acts, those who willfully omitted information, that stood out to me. That is the kind of, it reminded me of myself, that kind of vigor of, I'm going to speak and I don't care what anybody thinks. I have those family members too that are, be quiet, stop, what's enough is enough. How do you get to say enough is enough through my trauma?
Right.
You can't take over my trauma and decide when you think you've had enough. Listen, I would have gladly not had it.
Right.
So what initially attracted you to publishing this book?
Yeah, so I want to turn some lights on so it's not so grainy for you. Just
absolutely.
Sorry about that. Let's just get some light going. I want you to have a little better quality there. And hold on one sec.
Yeah, I know about that. Everybody said that about my TikTok. They kept saying, girl, you need a ring light. Hey, Black Gold, we appreciate your comment. M.A. Arch, fake book author. Okay, well, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. And here's the deal. The history of the world, all books and anything relating to the past, the history of the world is about writing about deceased people. Everything in this world. So what exactly is your problem with someone writing a deceased person? You spend United States currency every day, and every single one of those bills has a deceased person on it. Are you repulsed by the money? Like, let's be real. Let's grow up.
Right.
Let's be real. Hey guys, give us some of your comments. If you have questions, definitely let me know your questions. And I will share them with Chris.
Sorry. Well, the deceased thing is kind of a good point, and I'm glad that can come up real quick too. Is
absolutely
because it's like, what is defamation if it's said from somebody beyond the grave? If they say it and that was their experience and reality, whether, like we've said too, like, because I have to mitigate even with the sources, they're kind of up and down about, well, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why'd you say this? It's fully real. Why are you saying 80%? I'm like, slow down, because you're not giving me everything. Right. I have to mitigate my brand and my name. Like, so if it comes out that somebody fidgeted with the diary and the excerpts were put together, exactly. What if they had a hair up their butt for Diddy, and because they knew Diddy, so what if I'm going to put this in it? And so it's just like, I try to chill them out sometimes of like, just relax, just relax. I'm saying certain things. I don't mean everything I say. I'm saying, I'm 80%, 92. Then the next day I'm 100% when you tell me more. So it's like a cat and mouse. But my point is, it kind of rewrites when you're talking about a victim from the grave. It's like someone gets unalived and their diary is found.
That's right.
You made a great point. We deal with that all the time. Everything you read in history, not half of those people are not alive. Okay? Majority. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. Bob Marley, Jim Morrison. Right. Like, these people changed our lives because they were geniuses. So their work, I was getting into Kerouac again. Like, their work it inspires you, and you're reading them. And so it's okay. If Kim wanted to tell her story, let her tell her story.
In society, we call that a dying declaration. It doesn't have any less validity because the individual who crafted the words is no longer with us. The notion that if someone is deceased, I mean, you wouldn't even be able to have a funeral program if it was uncanny to speak of the deceased. It's nonsense. It's nonsense.
You wouldn't have the Bible.
Listen, hello, because all of them were deceased too. Thank you. And so it's important for us to reshape our narrative. And that's what a lot of this case is doing. It is taking people who have been previously obsessed with celebrity, and it's reframing the narrative, showing them that, listen, that's not the flex that you think it is. Yeah. Some of our greatest heroes are the lady that lives down the block from you, or the guy that teaches at your kid's school. We have to stop idolizing.
And we talk about hero worship, and we talk about idolizing. One of the commandments says not to do that, right? That's right. Graven images and no false gods before me.
That's right.
So it's really, and I did that on another project I talked about, Aaron and the golden calf, where Aaron makes this golden calf while Moses is on the mount, and they need something to worship, right?
Exactly.
It teaches the lesson of, no, believe in me, God. Believe in you're not going to worship an idol or an object. And celebrity, we've gotten so crazy, and that's what Diddy is. You're right. He's sort of a symbol. Weinstein was part of kind of the Me Too of the Hollywood. But I'll tell you right now, when Tony Busby talked, I texted a couple people I know that are close to law enforcement. I go, this guy's he's burning the whole forest down.
Listen,
he's coming after the whole industry, all of them. Yep.
And here's the thing, in life, everything, just like the word says, everything has a season, a time to rejoice, a time to cry.
Right.
Everything has a season. The world is cyclical. Everything that we can look back in the annals of time, there, even the former superpower nations or things like that, every civilization has come, risen to power, dominated the earth, and then fall, and then resurgence, and they become anew. Everything has a resurgence. And perhaps, just like the prophet, the emperor, Mr. Cat Williams proclaimed at the beginning of the year, it is up in 2024. He said, all lies will be exposed.
Yeah.
And thank God for that proclamation. We should celebrate that. We're either on God's side, whoever you call God. I don't care if it's Yahweh, Yeshua, Yahusha, Allah. I don't care who you call God. Whoever you worship, the universe, source, whatever, have a belief system. Look at what we just endured from the Hurricane Helene. I had a cousin that was missing for a day and a half, presumed washed away in the flood. By the grace of God, his car got washed away, and an old lady helped him. She saw him and took him in and took him to a shelter. Mother Nature is showing us we are but a speck of dust in the grand scheme of things. We have to be willing to do the work that we are called here to do. This is clearly your work.
Yeah, and I think too with the Tony Busby thing, because that's a hot topic, and he's going to be all over the news. He's already going on hold. He's going to be there tonight, tomorrow, and I think we need him. A guy who's coming forward and he goes, "I'm not just focused on Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh yeah,
there's other people, and we know Hollywood's afraid to out him.
Without a doubt,
that's why they're all quiet. That's why nobody's talking. No one's done a press conference. Nobody's coming for. And when they came at me about the book and saying this guy, all the white guys got the book, and Sean Combs, people send me this last night. It's where's your statement to the victims?
That's
Where's the Porter family? The Porter family and all the kids. They're so apt to say Kim didn't write this. Okay, but you guys have never made a statement about the victims of your father. But you're coming out. You're so quick to take me down, right? And I'm telling you right now, and maybe I thought of you this way a little bit today. It looks like the storm is here now, but I think I'm going to be turning up roses later.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And here's the thing. I can totally relate to that because I'm 25 years in this fight. December 27 makes 25 years. I had a lot of lonely, sad days crying from the rooftops. Hello, what about me? Here I am with this bullet in my face. Hello. And people didn't want to listen because of idol worship.
Right.
Because of idol worship. I heard this whole narrative when he became incarcerated. What about his kids? Hello? I pushed out 3. What about my kids?
Right.
What about my kids? You know how tough it is and you have children, so I know you can relate the impact of the step that you took, what impact it has on them.
Right.
And they understand that their dad is doing something because it's the right thing to do. We got to stop it with this whole don't speak out. This whole narrative has been pushed by Agnifilio, especially. Oh, you can't keep a good black man down. Well, what about a good black man?
I mean, when he said that, I was like, dude, come on. Like,
I didn't even know he said it. Somebody had to tell me.
You know what I think too? And look, defense attorneys have a license to lie. Mm-hmm. I always say that on my other cases. I deal with lawyers and cops all the time. But when he pulled that, like keeping a, that's why Busby's coming out. He's probably like, I'm done. Done. Like you guys, like you're not getting it. Mm-hmm. I got 100 people. We have 25 minors. 25 in that lawsuit. Yes.
So somebody asked Renee, one of my loyal followers, and when I tell you, so supportive of me, Renee asked, they're curious about how the book came into your hand. Okay, that question gets asked a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So just kind of the brief answer, because I've given it so many times, but I was approached at 2 separate times. One time about 8 months ago, I was like softly pitched Kim's book. Mm-hmm. Now, the form that I received it in was not the form. And what I mean by that is I had only seen a couple pages. I didn't know. It was weird because it was like I read about the Tupac thing at Quad Studios. Mm-hmm. I never even saw the stuff about the club. Didn't see that till the very end. I saw something about the tapes, about the pop stars. And we always heard those rumors. So I thought somebody was just writing it. And they wouldn't show me the actual drive, right? Because that would be insane, right? Mm-hmm. And time went by, like a few weeks, and someone else came to me. And I go, this person is shopping it. And they came back to me. They didn't even know the same people. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like, what? Okay, let me look at it because now you got my interest. I consider myself to be one of the best investigators in the world. Sorry. And so I said, let me do it. And I did it, and I saw no real red flags. Maybe I saw some stuff that was a little like, hey, can I have the flash drive? No. Hey, can I have the tapes? No. Here, they weren't even really going to give me a digital copy of the book. I got lucky that once I got that, then I was like, I got it, right? Mm-hmm. But at first, it was just like somebody printed out pages and just like, here, mailed to me. Yeah. And understandably so, because guess what? People are never too sure who people are, and they don't want to hand the entire thing over, and then you're connected to him, and then it's all a wash. And they think I could snitch them, like they see me on the other cases, Natalie Wood, OJ, John Bonet. They may think, because I talk in my other interviews about working with police. So, look, this is how I think of it this way, because I know the sources. There's a couple of them. Mm-hmm. They wanted to burn Diddy, and they wanted to help Kim. So it's like her memory, right? And it's shoved right up him, like this is from her, because they do believe, and I'm not going to be that silent about it, there is mysterious circumstances surrounding her death. Listen, I am not. That's not lost on me. That's not lost on me. I think for a unaliving situation, there were quite a bunch of people on the premises instantly, and it stands to reason that further investigations should go there, especially given the fact that the initial coroner said something else, Ed Winter, and then instantly this man is unalived. Like, yeah, I don't go crazy.
He died a year later. I don't get crazy on
Was
like,
it a year later? Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
it was
realize
like a while. And even I'm still trying to figure out, were there toxins in her system? The autopsy, I don't know if I have the real autopsy or the second one. It's
well, I think most people have the second one. I think most people have that second one that says something that stood out to me, and I will just say it publicly. I've discussed it with someone else before. Names that are peculiar stick in my head, and facts just stick in my head. And when it originally occurred, it said she didn't have her own personal care physician. Now, I'm a woman of a certain age. We have doctors. We have our own doctor. Even if you don't
she's
go,
not at the hospital at all.
And she's
like,
not.
She doesn't go to the
But
hospital.
she's not broke, so she has access to health care. Even if she saw fit to like, oh, I can pass this over and stay home, and even if you have an on-call doctor. But something stood out to me because I heard the name when they were doing the reporting, Dr. Farzam. And so I was like, where do I know that name from? I've heard that before. Well, that's the name of the doctor that, what's his name? Harley Pasternak with Kanye. When he sent that message to Kanye, he's like, I will put you under, I will put you. That's the doctor. And I was like, what's the likelihood that they both have the same doctor? And I thought that was odd. And then later on, the reporting said he got that doctor for her. What?
Yeah, it's just, to be honest, I haven't really done my Chris Todd investigation on this because I've been so focused on memoir book. Like I'm trying to, that's a whole full-time job in itself.
When you get a moment, Google it.
Yeah.
Google it.
So I will, I'll look more into it. Yeah.
Someone says, I teared up reading the beginning of the book when she mentions her kids, but she knows she has to say the truth. And listen, people don't typically give a narrative that has the potential to make them cast their own selves in a negative light if they don't know that the importance of sharing the information, because they were controversial things.
Right.
When someone is that candid, it's due to responsibility. It's due to please know.
And also, yeah, that's what I say too. Even, and you always say, rest their soul, but Absolutely. We have to remember to say this objectively. Kim saw a lot of this stuff. Like, I'm not saying she's culpable. I'm not saying we don't know. You see what I'm saying? So she kind of danced with the devil for a long time. So I stick up for her. I fight for her.
Absolutely.
I stuck my neck out for her. It made $0. People think I didn't make any money.
Well, here's the deal. We're going to speak into existence that you will be redeemed for your work. Okay, we're going to speak that into existence. We're going to touch and agree through these telecommunication wires, these internet Wi-Fi wires, that you will be redeemed. Somebody had to do the work. Someone had to do the work. And so it is my sincere belief that you will be compensated. Of course, people are afraid. What's the old adage? Truth hurts. So when truth comes to the surface, people don't like it.
Right.
There was once Malcolm X said, there's going to come a time where people love a lie and hate the truth.
Right.
And we are at the precipice of that time. Like, people hate the truth. You know how I was ostracized for speaking the truth? I tell the story in many interviews that I had these people, when my face was still bandaged up, I went out with my mother. It was like 7 people. They cursed me out from across the street, called me all type of B's and H's, and I'm trying to take a good man down, and I'm trying to destroy the hip hop culture. I'm the child of hip hop. I took my allowance, $3.23. I walked to Straker's record store on Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, and I bought Rapper's Delight. I bought King Timothy.
Right.
I literally got such an early copy. It didn't have that blue jacket with the kaleidoscope piano keys. It was white. A solid white jacket. I am hip hop. My whole life is a bunch of hip hop quotables. I literally make hip hop quotables all the time. And people are always astounded, like, oh, I didn't know you were into hip hop like that. Yeah. So
I think they make it, and I think in the case of back when that happened, they made that much worse by just not doing what was right. Like, if he gets out for good behavior, say he doesn't do 10 years, but at least just say it, move on, right?
Absolutely.
Instead of you're still dealing with this years later. Shine is still saying things, like he's still and it's just like sometimes we never can get it right. as a society. They just like the OJ case, they still can't get it right. 30 years later, they still don't know the truth. Even though
here's the deal. People are invested in keeping lies going. We know that. Yeah. People are invested, and when too many people are invested in that, a lot of people's ego won't allow them to go back to say, hey, I had an opportunity to look back on the past and I realized I was wrong. People's egos won't allow them to say that. So that's where we at. Someone else
very interesting.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
No, I was saying it's interesting that Shine is back talking, and then the book memoir has the chapter about, like, it kind of revived. And I knew, like I said when I met you, that's what I said to you. I think you're going to want to see this.
You certainly.
You don't have to work with me. I don't care. And I do this on other books too. I have all the OJ books. When I call those people up. You might want to know what I know because they talk about you in the book. So when I saw your thing, I knew I had to kind of look up your name because it doesn't say your name. It just says what's happening. And I go, oh, I remember. And then I saw you on, I think, News Nation. And I go, there she is. And Art of Dialogue. There she is. And that's how I tried to.
And I appreciate. I will eternally be grateful to you. It was so cathartic. I promise you. You said you had reached out to me and said, I have something I think you want to see. When you sent it to me and I finally read it, I probably spent the next 2 days curled up in the bed in fetal position. Because it was vindication. No, listen, it was good. Yeah. It was vindication. It was, I told you all. Why didn't you believe me? I mean, a surgeon, an accomplished surgeon, came to the trial and testified in the trial when I was putting this woman under anesthesia to get a piece of the bullet
you told him.
Aspirating into my throat and trying to go into my lungs. She was screaming, he shot me. Right. I was saying, Puffy shot me. Why don't you believe him?
Right.
We know societally people put a hierarchy of, other people's value and words. But why don't you believe him? He doesn't have a dog in the fight. This is a surgeon that's going to go back to his life. Why isn't his word satisfactory? And it just tells you that money supersedes integrity, power. This money supersedes it all. It's unfortunate.
And sometimes juries, because that was a jury that decided that, right?
Well, when you have the dream team attorney of, why is his name slipping my?
But they only say Shine, right? They basically just
both of them were three of them were on trial. Most people don't even mention Wolf anymore. Wolf
was on trial too.
Yes. Shine, Wolf, and Puffy were on trial.
Okay.
I think because of who Wolf was and his power in the street, he knew if they had to throw somebody under, he couldn't dare throw him under. He knows too much. The person that knows
we can't really say throw under. Did the jury say just Shine? Like, what was the?
Well, it's my understanding that he hired Shine's attorney, and like a flim.
Were they all together in the same?
All three, yeah.
But only one was convicted.
Only one was convicted, and two were improperly charged. They were improperly charged. The appropriate charge should have been attempted murder. There's a saying: if you shoot someone above the belt, that is attempted murder. My face. Right. Like, how do you disavow your own rule of law?
Yeah.
How? None of it made any sense. And then I'm vehement that J-Lo has to be brought to justice. No one is going to stop me from that. I've said it all along. Because if you go to any urban jail center in any state or any country, there is a bunch of guys named Man, Pookie, Jamal, Tony, Daquan, that all were in a car and somebody had a gun. And because nobody claimed it, their life is ruined. How does she get the special golden walk away? Johnny Cochran, thank you.
Did they throw the gun out the window when they drove away?
One of the guns. One of them. So when Shine came out of the club, they found one in his waist. He was arrested immediately. Yeah. They ran into the SUV and they had one was still in the car and one was thrown out the window. And at the time, and you can Google this and look it up, the cop said it was a hand of a woman. There was only one woman in the car. And the vast difference, he said when he saw because there were cops chasing them.
Oh, they saw it.
They saw one of the guns being thrown out and they said it was a woman's hand, not the least of which it was the only white hand in the car.
That's crazy.
And she still got to walk? That angered me for a lot of years. Let's see what someone else is asking. They said the book was written to expose Diddy, and the press conference validated that the book, in my opinion. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. We have some. Give me some more questions, guys. Someone says there are so many moving parts to this that it's hard to be on the outside and connect all the dots at the same time. I hadn't even thought about Kim knowing about the cases like we heard about today. Indeed. And I'll tell you something. Someone on the internet said to me, "Oh, I love how spiritual you are, and I love how deep in your faith you are. God was so profound that the security guard that took the comb out of your bag, he was giving you a sign. Combs. Look at the man's last name."
Oh my God, that's crazy.
She took a comb and said, "This is a weapon." And then look, I got injured with a weapon from comb. What is the likely? It never occurred to me in 25 years. I said, thank God for the internet, because the insight from other people, I thought that was so profound. He said, God is so profound. Look at that. I was like, wow, that is something. So I want you to tell me, how did you assess the potential risks versus rewards in publishing a book such as on this polarizing subject? How did you, we kind of went over it, but.
It took time. Like, it was over a long period of time. So if we say 8 months, to me, that's a long time, because I won't stay on cases that long anymore. After I did my OJ thing for like 7 years, I vowed and I did Natalie Wood for like 8 years. I was like, no, I'm going to do what I can do, research, and then I'm moving on, because I would get stuck on these things. So the point is, it took a long time. It was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of sleepless nights. I was nervous. I didn't know if I believed it. I kept bugging them. I need more. And then they'd retract, like they're going to block me. And I'm like, shit, like I want it. Like, they kind of played me pretty good, right? They got me far enough. And I've said this many times. I prayed on it. I asked God what to do. He told me to release it. I knew there was a storm coming. I can't explain it. I think part of it too, I've said this before, is in my life, like on my other books and other investigations, I never really made any money. I don't charge families. I have another job. I run a small business. It doesn't make my money. So for me, to be honest, as a fallible, erroneous human being, did I think like, hey, this could be your chance? Like, absolutely. That's what everybody does in Hollywood. They write a book, they make a movie, they act in a play. Of course. So I'm never going to hide that and be like, oh, you did it. Well, yeah, sort of. I did try to make some money, but right now that's not happening. So, but I look at it this way too. I told this. I've changed pop culture on some of my other cases. I'm doing another case right now. That is my joy. When I read people that write me, 2 people wrote me last night. I get a lot of emails. Thank you, Chris. I've never seen anybody do this. I knew Kurt Cobain didn't unalive himself. I knew OJ wasn't alone. Thank you. And that is the bucket list that I give to these people. That's something I can give back karmically, is I changed their life. I changed their entire and it's not millions and millions of people, but it's thousands. It's a lot of people. And I have millions of views, but I'm saying like there's probably like 5 million views on my cases that I've done like on YouTube. And if I can affect just a percentage of them, it's worth it.
Absolutely. And look, I always say, I'm always thinking like, come to me, Holy Spirit, show me a sign. And then you say Kurt Cobain. My daughter's name is Nirvana.
Nope.
All of these connections. So it's not lost on me. And I know I'm always inviting God into the space, and
I've seen things, to be honest, because I'm glad we could talk about God and Jesus and Spirit and the Bible. He's shown me things that you the normal person, you'll never understand.
Absolutely.
He's given me things that I can see, things that others cannot. A guy sent me a video of someone in an interview, and he goes, look, he's innocent. I go, no. Because I can't. How do you see that? I go, because I have that gift. He gave me the gift. I know when people are lying.
It says those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. I have it too. And I recognize your passion because I have that too.
Right.
Everybody doesn't have it, and it makes you stand out, and it makes you peculiar, and it makes you these things. I'm okay with all of that. I've never wanted to be a part of the fray and be like everybody
Well,
else.
you and I are very similar because we have that gift and ability to see the truth, and then we're vocal. So that's that combination that makes it. That's why I knew eventually that we could do great things, and especially with Diddy, because your connection, and now I'm connected now. But and there's other things we could do in the future too. But I'm just saying, like, I've just seen God do so many things on my cases. It's like magic. And my friend is a big Christian. Don't use the word magic. We don't say magic in Christian. I go, I don't know how else to say it. Like, it's just something I can't explain.
Well, here's a better word: supernatural. If it's supernatural and it seems so out of the realm of possibility, that's how you know it's God. Anything that's easily explainable is typically man, because people are simple. But anything that's so supernatural, that how on earth? I mean, someone said to me on social media, someone commented, "Oh, please, I don't believe that woman. She's capping. There's no way you could get shot in the face and look like that. She's a liar." Listen, I said, tell me you don't believe in God without telling me you don't believe in God.
Exactly. Right.
For the first
one
5 or 6
way
years,
this way, one way that way.
Listen, this is my entry wound.
Right.
Most people can't. You see how my nose depresses right here? This right here is the biggest chunk of the bullet. I have a massive chunk of bullet right here. It's on my optic nerve. So they couldn't take it out because they said if they tried to take it out, it's so on top of the arteries of my optic nerve, it could have blinded me. I have a bunch here. I never had acne as a teenager. The bullets gave me facial breakouts. And then I have one here, one pellet, because it was a hollow point. So once it hits the bone, it shatters all over. They're meant to kill you. They're
and you're like 15 feet away, right? How far was that?
I was a little further than 15 feet, but it was a hollow point bullet, and it literally, they hollow out the center so it makes the bullet tear up.
Right.
Literally went in, broke my cheekbone, broke my nose. I mean, one piece went up and scarred my cerebral cortex. I have a seizure disorder because of it. I have one chunk right here and the rest are right here. This chunk, and I'm going to do something I've never done publicly. A few years ago, this is just a few years back, I started having immense pain. And we were just like, what's going on? I had to have a dark towel over my head and I was moaning in pain. And I didn't know what was causing it. The bullet on this side, because of weight gain or whatever, shifted and went on top of the nerve on my tooth. Yeah. This thing hurt so colossally bad. Death would have probably been an easier outcome for me. I mean, I got shot and that hurt me so bad. And my son was like, "No, we got to take you to the hospital. This is crazy. I don't know what to do." I couldn't stop crying, and I'm not a crier. The dentist was like, "This piece of metal is on your nerve. What is a piece of metal in your face?" I was like, "A bullet fragment." He was like, "A bullet fragment?" They had to go in and take all of the nerve out of the tooth, called a pulpectomy, because, and then look what happened. I lost that tooth. I've never shown that publicly. I was humiliated by it, but these are the things that I no longer can be ashamed of.
And 1,000 times in a row, if that had happened again, 999 people would have probably died from that.
I know.
Hollow tip, pretty straight on, like 20 feet away, whatever you want to say it is.
They call them killers. They're called cop killers. That's what the bullets are called when they hollow.
No, I know, hollow tip. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I am the epitome of the grace and mercy of God. Oh, yeah. I'm eternally grateful for his desire to keep me here in spite of all of the medical things I've had all this time. You know, I would take them a million times again if I could be here to raise my children. That's what I said to him. I wanted to be here to raise my kids. So let me ask you another question. Were there any early signs that the book would create such a stir, or did the reaction surprise you?
Well, the one chapter, we won't talk about the person, but I should have removed that. And I X'd it out, and I thought I was Xing out plenty, but it just wasn't enough. But I did know, we're still waiting to see if some of the really big celebrities take some of it. and think of it as defamation. But I knew it was a tornado, but I kind of was like, good. Like for me, entertainment for me, like I watch crazy movies, crazy show, I read crazy books. Like I do a lot of true crime, unaliving stories are very crazy. No matter what they are, they're crazy. So
absolutely.
For me, I knew it was going to be, but I thought some of the best art and some of the best stories are crazy. So, and that's why the book caught so much popularity, because it's the tea, right? As everybody says, I want the tea. Like it just had, it was like, I thought Kim was brilliant with it. It had tabloid, it had truth, it had fire, it had sadness, it had Stockholm syndrome. She even mentions that in there, right?
Yeah.
And she was like a piece of pop culture. Like she goes through Pac, through the 90s, into the 2000s. Like, come on, that's all the Bad Boy and the Death Row, and some of the pictures in there. You know, I released the photo finally. The one photo took a long time to get anybody to even show it, and like the media just with their whole like, you know, we don't pay for that. I wasn't even selling it. Like,
so many people.
How do we know it's Kim's picture? I'm like, she's in her bathroom. I'm not saying she took it, but obviously it's on the flash drive. Nobody's ever seen it. I wasn't even supposed to get it. So here you go. But, you know, I had it out with these reporters recently, but I'm glad they put the article out because that triggered a lot of it. So, you know, now it's off and running. It doesn't matter if it's
I know, you know, we both know that there was a little hesitance before the book came out. So shout out to Radar Online for getting that ball rolling.
Yeah, Radar and Daily Mail. Look, they both did their part, but, you know, they're pretty snaky. Like, I'm just going to say, they were supposed to do more than one article. They were supposed to stand their ground. They didn't. They retracted it. After they gave me their word, they wouldn't retract it. It's like,
well, that was the 52 fake out. They wanted
you can't defame the devil. People are undefamable. So if you say that guy unalived 10 people and he's going to sue you for defamation, he can't. And look at what Busby did today. That's why we had the validation. One of my other investigators wrote me, he goes, you got nothing to worry about. He's like, they may mess with your money. Amazon may cry about it. Oh, you're getting us sued. And they may take your money. Chris, don't worry about it. Because in the end, you're going to be vindicated that this guy is literally 20 times worse than Weinstein. And
you have something to stand on with anything that contains material misrepresentations, false pleadings, anything that has false pleadings, omissions of fact. No one can sequester your voice. They can't. There's something in this country called the unclean hands doctrine. You cannot enter with unclean hands and seek legal remedy. You can't be out here chopping people's right arms off and be like, she slapped me with her left hand. Like, okay, that's all she had left. Like, what do you want? You can't see. So trust me, I don't feel any fear, and I don't even care if what was possible. I don't feel any fear. I've walked too long in this muck and this mire to start walking around with fear now. God didn't call me to that. I'm a different breed. I don't exist in fear. I have a firm belief. Fear and worry cannot exist where faith lives. They are contradictory to each other. They cannot coexist in the same space. When you exist with fear and with worry, you are telling God you have no faith in him. I refuse. God has shown me too many things. I told people all the time, even when I got shot, as I was holding the paper towel, walking to that entrance where people were telling me, go through here, go through here. Listen, as I watched 50 people run through that doorway. When I got to the doorway, in the dark, God said, touch the floor. I didn't even question God. I got shot in my face and I'm walking around. I know whatever you're telling me to touch the floor for, I touched the floor. And I always forget to tell the entirety of the story because I just think people know. I touched the floor. I felt a piece of metal. I didn't know what the metal was, but God said, put it in your bag. I'm holding you. I shove it in my bag. Eventually, once we get to the hospital, my mother looking through it, she said, where you get this from? I said, oh, God told me to touch the floor. I picked that up in the club. It was a giant diamond and gold, solid, like bicycle link bracelet that I ended up living off of.
Right.
That's God. That's God saying, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I know I let you got shot, baby girl, but I'm going to take
But
care.
He gives you something else. He's like, here.
He gives me a holding thing to keep me safe and allow my children to have their daily bread. I mean, how can I complain? How can I complain?
Crazy.
Oh, thank you. Somebody said, you poor woman. I'm so sorry that you suffered so much. God is good because you're beautiful. And thank you. I appreciate that. God is good because he is good. My beauty or whatever is a secondary to that, but I appreciate you. Someone has a question. They said, what made you know that these are actual words Kim wrote? I know there has to be something for you to release this book and take on all this danger and backlash. And I think you kind of reiterated that. You vetted it, you know.
It's sort of a leap of faith, but I had enough to go for it because I didn't see the red flags. They knew too much. There were too many weird stories about Tupac and Kim and Diddy and people close to them and victims. I've been doing this 10 years, the investigative thing for 10 years. I know what I'm doing. Like, and I knew if I was wrong, it was okay. Like, even if just some of that has to come out, because also not like mind reading or saying, but it's also like, you know, guessing a little bit to get them to tell you, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened. Yeah. So sometimes you win in the end. You win in the end. At first, it doesn't look like you're going to win. And it did. Don't get me wrong. I was pretty stressed out. I had like a migraine for 2 days, 1 week, because I couldn't, reporters were nonstop. I was driving to Inside Edition. Pierce Morgan's team was on the phone. I'm like trying to text someone and talk and drive and then go do my hair. Like it just was stressful. But I knew that I was kind of honored to be, as a white guy too. And they keep harping on my skin color. Like, but to me, I was kind of like, hey, I'm honored to go over there and dabble. I worked the Emmett Till Project for years. Everybody knew I had that. So I was like, hey, it's okay. Look, if I do an Asian project, Latino, I mean, I don't get offended. I said this last night. The interview is going to come out. If a black man wrote my story, why do I care? Like, if he wrote a brilliant book, I don't care what his skin color is. We're so obsessed with race still. It's just so, it's disheartening sometimes.
Yeah. I had to tell somebody the other day on the internet. So there was something, it was not even related to this. There was something about a flower called the duck flower. And what it is something in the Caribbean, and they use it to kind of give you a washout. So I'm a Caribbean, and we always had what we called a purge or a washout. We got one twice a month, monthly, and that's why we weren't sick. And so all these people came into, so I said, oh, this is great. You know, what a beautiful thing. We need to stick with natural things. And someone comes in and they're like, oh, you're ridiculous. You're absurd. You shouldn't use this. It'll kill you. You people are crazy. I said, hey, not too much with the you people. What does that mean? And he's like, oh, don't make it a race thing. I said, go back in history and tell that to your great grandfather. Okay. You're not going to gaslight me. What are you talking about? You're gaslighting me for bringing up something. I said, let adults adult. So if it doesn't work for somebody, they have buyer beware. They have the right to indulge or not, and let adults adult. It don't have to do with anything but adults adulting. We are the arbiter of our own success or demise. You don't get to walk into my life and direct me. And so if somebody is a white man and they come out and tell the story and vindicate me for my 25 years of crying aloud and sparing not, what do I care? I don't care what somebody's color is. If you're coming out and speaking truth to power, I applaud you for that. It's not an easy road. You see it. You're in the muck and mire. You see it's not easy. I've been standing in this cesspool for a long time by myself. I don't care who jumps in and like, hey, yeah, she's right. Let me show you this. What do I care? Like, oh, no, send the black guy in. All the black people knew the information and they didn't say anything.
Right. And I'm telling you right now with Busby, and I texted another reporter this off the record, there's going to be, I think, a lot of the abuse is going to be done by black men because Diddy's not going to be, there's a gang element, right? There's going to be like the Crips and the Bloods, and a lot of these guys were doing a lot of drugs. Like we know that from the Tupac Biggie story with Zip Martin and Diddy, like in New York, tied to Keefe D. We already know that. So I'm not saying there's not going to be any white people, but I'm saying like there's going to be some gang kind of elements to the abuse with the videotaping.
I think also it crosses a lot of societal and socioeconomic lines too, because the whole vanguard of the white party was intersectionality of all these upper echelon old white money and then modern new black this and that. And so I think there are a lot of people who are going to be complicit and culpable in this, and people are shaking in their boots.
Like if he, I mean, I don't know if that guy's going to burn the whole forest down or not, but I'm telling you, he even mentioned white parties. Like he kept saying the names of the themes, and you're just like, wow, we all saw it, because he was doing this after the hours. It's like, yeah, I'm sure LeBron James showed up, had a beer. Sure. We're not accusing him of doing anything. If you go to a party, it's not illegal to drink, dance, and have fun. But when the lights went down and 2 o'clock came, the devil appeared. Like, and that's what this guy, 120 victims, 25 are minors. That's a lot of lawsuits.
That was crazy. And but wait, didn't you hear what he said? They got about 3,000 inquiries. They narrowed it down to 120.
To the probably the most provable.
Exactly. So 3,000, as the young people say, is crazy, nasty work. That is.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. It sounds cumbersome because of the volume, but look at the amount of years. If you spread it out,
right,
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Complacency breeds contempt. The first time you get away with stealing a cookie from the cookie jar, you might take one because you're like, I hope nobody notices. But because after you get away with it,
going up, Sean got. I mean, look,
nothing but crumbs.
Why? And look, and it's kind of a sad story too. And I'm not saying anything about victims. It is a fall from grace. It is the I used to call it the fall of Zeus. Why would Sean Combs need assault rifles with serial numbers scratched up? Come on, man. You have all this money. You own multiple companies. You had the looks and you could dance, and you had the charm, and you could rap. I really think they said the voodoo in the book. They talk about, Kim mentions that he's getting into voodoo. There's other things with the even white people have this skull and bones and Illuminati and all this stuff. But I think the devil possesses people. I do. I said by John Bonet, and I think, he sold his soul to the devil. Yeah.
Well, here's what they say. There is a theory in the culture that says every person you lay with, you gain a soul tie. So if you are having this, you take up energy from them and you give your
like a vampire almost. You
take a succubus, exactly, an incubus. If you have this many partners that you are exchanging all of, you have the reason they say so many people find their soulmate but they can't stick is because they gave pieces of their soul away to every person they laid with. And sometimes you lay with so many people, you have no soul ties left. So even if you meet your soul, your soul's thing, you can't connect your soulmate because you have nothing left.
There's nothing
and that's
left.
What it sounds like.
And that's exactly what he did. He was dating, like when he was with Kim, he had many other girlfriends. He had many other children. He never married Kim, right?
Or anyone.
Or anyone. And then he gets with before Young Miami, he's dating J-Lo and Kim at the same time. Kim tells you that. He's calling me 60 times a day during the J-Lo. And I found out even he was with other women during that too. So look, like we said, he was like a cross between like El Chapo, Fabio Ochoa, and Harvey Weinstein and Epstein. Like if they all had a baby, like that's what. And look, I don't know how he got away with this. I really don't. Like how he kept these tapes secret, how nobody leaked any of these tapes.
Here's the irony about tapes. Here's the irony about keeping mementos. When we looked at all of these true crime, shows and things like that, and the Boston Strangler, many of these serial unalivers keep mementos.
Yeah.
Or, grapers keep mementos of their victims. And so it's not lost on me. Look, he's keeping
I
mementos.
know, but your
He's
instinct
self-indicted.
For me, my instinct is like, why film it? Like, if you have a party, say you got all the celebs, and they're all there, and you have women that are of age, and you guys want to rock and roll, there's nothing illegal. It's not. And why would you film that? Like, because you want to watch it? That's insane to me. That's why I knew he's either possessed and or gone crazy. Like, he's kind of mad, right? He's watching the videos, whether there's a sex addiction there. Like, come on, dude, you're leaving evidence behind.
Self-indicting. It's like the streets. They call it self-snitching,
Yeah.
People make a song. I run up in the store and I bust my. Hello, you're indicting yourself.
Well, we used to always say, yeah. Some people were texting about that guy's thing. We used to say, what I say is, people used to say this about me too, because years ago, I kind of went off the rails a couple of times. Like I'm like clean and sober now, like 4 years. I changed my life. I'm a born again Christian. I have I'm way clearer ahead. But my friend would go, "Oh, you're gonna spin off the rails," or and that's what Diddy did. He went off the rails, and he could never come back. It just kept getting worse and worse. The drugs, they said he was on a lot of drugs, liquid cocaine. Tony Busby said there were horse tranquilizers in the blood tests of the victims.
I heard that.
Things he couldn't even pronounce.
He said it was called Trank or something like that.
Trank, yep.
Yeah.
And so and that's why when we say, oh, what happened to Jamie Foxx? What happened to Albie Shore? You're it's starting to make sense. You're like, how does he have access to this? Is it arsenic? Is it polonium? Is it cyanide? Is it different? What is it? So it's really this is the story of the year, not the book. I'm talking about just this story the last 2 years.
I said it to people. I said, someone said to me, asked me about it, and I said, listen, outside of the unaliving of Tupac and Biggie, it is the biggest story in the culture, in hip hop culture, in pop culture. It is the biggest story. I said and then somebody stopped and was like, wow, I never thought about it like that. You're right. I said, the only difference is I'm the only one that survived.
Right.
And then the odd narrative is, if you listen to what the narrative is, look how all these stories are connected.
Yeah.
People would say, people used to have this thing, and they said it to me millions of times over the 25 years. Well, why would somebody rich and famous do that? Why would they do that to you? I can't speak for why people who of ill repute do wicked things. I can't speak about that.
Because they keep getting away with it.
I can tell you what people of God do. I can tell you what people who live a typically functioning life do. I can't tell you what wicked people do. I don't know how their mind works. That's not
even after the Me Too, for the last 5 years, it's really fascinating that Sean didn't take notice and be like, dude, I need to chill it out. Let's stop, because I know Busby's talking about 94. He's bringing these cases back a long time, but he said, I think a lot of them happened after 2016. So that's that's pretty recent. You didn't learn anything from Weinstein and Hollywood, and even people in Hollywood didn't go to Sean and say, bro, you got to stop.
You got to chill. Yeah.
You're going to take Jay-Z out. You're going to take Jamie Foxx and Kevin Hart out. What are you doing?
If you listen to the narrative, some people were willing participants. I won't give victim status to willing participants.
Oh yeah. So I understand.
Some people espouse that some of the people that we've named are worse or equally as diabolical. I think that you have to disassociate in your mind to treat people like this. This can't be, if this is your normal operational plateau, then something is really wrong.
Sociopathic. I mean, there's no remorse. There's no remorse.
Right.
They don't think they're doing anything wrong. And look, we're going to just have to wait and see.
People are saying blackmail with the tapes. Yep. People are saying.
That's what Epstein did. That's Epstein. They film you.
It's a power move.
Yeah. It's called the sextortion. So if you have somebody in a sexual thing, whether with a woman or man, doesn't matter, younger, whatever, you have that over them. But I don't know. I'm really still kind of fascinated. And I think we need to see this stuff play out. I don't think we have all the answers. I think it's kind of just tipping over right now. Like it was Cassie's thing and Little Rod was a big deal. Like that was like waking whoa, what's going on? Like, and then now Busby is kind of like the dynamite. Kim's book was kind of like a couple grenades, like, and your story tying into it, and you're going to preach the truth. So I think we have to, this is fluid. It's organic. We're going to go through this he's not going to go to trial for 2 years. I hope everyone understands that.
It's going to require a lot of investigation. And here's the stuff, I heard somebody say today, he's going back to ask to be let out on bail again.
Yes.
And then somebody on the radio said, now, isn't it funny? The Locks were begging him over and over again to be released so that they could go to Rough Riders. And he kept saying, no. He said, we create a karma that comes back. It's like spitting out of the window of a moving car. You're going to get it back. You're going to get it forward. It's going to be in your face.
I think he is sort of like the lamb too, because he has to be sacrificed in a way. Like he has to be the one to go down. I don't see them arresting like 100 people. No. Maybe they grab 1 or 2 big names, but Busby did say there's some big names in there. So, but to me, it's kind of like, if we can move on, let's get the people we can get them. I don't want to see it turn into like this whole like forest fire where we're taking everybody out. So,
well,
I don't know.
Here's the thing, like Cat Williams said, all lies will be revealed. The thing about spider webs, they build that intricate web system and it branches off and has all these different tentacles. But when you're walking in the door and that light from the street light glimpses that thing and you see it before you walk into it, you don't say, I'm going to tear 3 of these tentacles down. You take a stick and knock the whole thing down.
Yeah.
You got to save yourself and anybody else who may come into contact with it. Because if you don't, that brown recluse hanging on is going to bite you and swell your whole face up and close your throat. Like sometimes you have to tear it all down. Like I said, everything in society has had its run. Yeah. Things typically in life have a 30-year-ish kind of run. And then something else comes in as a vanguard. So we need to be asking ourselves, if this is toppling now, who in society is on the beginning stages of their diabolical run that may end in 30 years? Or who in your life right now is doing things that you could step forward and say, you know what? Stop that. Young man, I'm not going to sit back and watch you keep doing this. Those are the things, I think those are the things we have to focus on. And we watched how this thing grew. If you're interacting with people and you see them on a trajectory, it is our duty to say, hey, let me have a conversation with you. I see you on a trajectory. I've seen this before. You got to chill, and I think that's what we're called to do. Oh, someone said the tapes kept people in their places.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's fear too. When you have fear of losing your freedom, money, absolutely. But I really think like a lot of me feels like I don't want to believe some of this either. So until I see it with my own eyes, I just don't know. Some of the things are so horrific that Busby's talking about. It's like he's saying like, that either the hotels knew or the casting director knew.
Well, they definitely did, because look at the Cassie Hotel situation. They were paid for the tape. You're complicit in that.
Yeah,
if you take money to conceal the fact that you watched a violent attack, you're complicit.
They should have handled that in right away. That should.
It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Here's the irony. I am waiting to see if they find the videotape from the club in those tapes.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I'm telling you, when I went through that doorway where God told me touch the floor, there was a bunch of people in that corridor trying to get out. And a man came and tapped me on my back. It was dark in that area. How would you know to tap me on my back? You would only know who I was in the crowd if you saw me on a videotape.
You think there were video cameras in there?
I'm certain there were video cameras in there. The videos disappeared. And when they questioned, they did. When they questioned, where's the video? We don't know.
Oh my God. So bad.
I bet it's in that closet. I can't wait till that one is exposed. That'll be my final vindication. My final vindication. Because I've always said this guy tapped me on my shoulder from behind. There was about 40, 50 people. How do you know who I am? You don't know me. How do you know who I am in a crowd in a dark area of people scurrying through an area? You came downstairs and someone else on the internet said, girl, they came downstairs when they saw you were still walking around to make sure you were dead. Too many weird things happened. Too many weird things. They took me to, I was shot in the face. Another guy was shot in the shoulder. They took him to the level 1 trauma center and took me to a community hospital.
Really?
A little small community hospital called St. Clair's, which some ENT people were on the comments and they said this was the worst hospital in New York. We hated this hospital. People were like, they had to be trying to make sure you were dead. A lot of people said I was a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. Look at the irony of life. The City College incident happened December 28th. My incident was December 27th. What is the likelihood?
Right.
That you have an incident where 9 people die, and then years later you have an incident where 2 people almost died?
Yeah.
A day apart? No.
Yeah.
That kind of coincidence, you could play the lotto. And
yeah, I see number coincidences all the time. All the time. Like Kim died on my birthday.
Wow.
November 15th is my birthday.
Wow.
So I knew right away. And
you called to this.
Published, yeah. I knew said the light right. I'm like, wait, when did she die? November 15th. Oh, okay. That's my birthday. So and when the book published, that was another date for me too. I'm not going to say it, but September 6th has significance to me too, and that's the day the book published. So, and we didn't plan that. We actually submitted it like on the 4th or the 5th. You don't know when it'll go up. Yeah. So, but yeah, But if you have any other questions, ask me because I think my iPad's.
So I think I have 2 more.
Yeah, it's getting dark here. I'm losing light.
Absolutely. Here. Well, okay. A good thing is, how are you handling the negative press or the public outcry after the books about the book's content?
Yeah, I have a lot of interviews coming out. One's going to come out today. This one will be out soon. And it's been hard, but I think I've responded the way I should. So I've been asked every question and I respond to all the questions, honestly and truthfully. But I will say I'm a little shell-shocked right now. I think I'll be stronger later. But right now I'm still kind of in a little bit of not a panic mode, but just an adjustment. So
I get it. I was there. I know exactly what you're going through.
Yeah.
Someone said in the comments, an attorney was in the news recently and said that she saw stills of a video that is being shopped in Hollywood and includes a picture of someone higher profile than him. But she refused to represent the sale. I did see that as well. What do you think about that?
I think I know who's showing some of the tapes around. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's not me.
Yeah, I know.
That.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we know there's a rogue source.
Okay.
That someone's calling around, not as my name, but they're calling around trying to represent me.
Really?
So 2 people wrote me that today.
Wow.
In some random name. I don't have a lawyer. They're like, oh, your lawyer called us today. I go, I don't have a lawyer. Like, what are you talking about? There's somebody rogue. And we knew that. In any case, if you've had these tapes for this many years, I'm not dumb. Even if the sources go, we got them. Well, how do I know you're the only ones that have them? Like somebody could just film your laptop or your iPad and they got it too. They don't need to be in possession of it. So something's going on. I think supposedly they're threatening to if they don't get paid, they're releasing the Bieber tape.
And here's the thing. It's one thing to produce a book of someone who has departed and wanted their words to be memorialized and made public. It's another thing to be so desperate for money that you now disgrace someone who is currently living, and it could impact him. Like, the long and short of it is, this man was a child when this started. And so I think people need to move with caution and concern about the welfare of this man-child, because when you're broken as a child, that lingers for a long time.
And I know this person because they've been asking, they're trying to get me to consult with them about like, how do we handle this? The protection is, I'm not saying you call their bluff, but what I'm saying is if they release any minor footage, they're going to fucking jail. They're done. And if they're going to have a target on their back too. So that's going to be, that's not the way to do it. If there's a minor, it goes to the FBI, right? You hand it in and you say, this is for you. If there's other tapes that he's over 18 and it's at a party, well, look, there's a lot of catch and kills. There's a lot of stories that get bought and sold.
Absolutely.
The former president has that. There's not like, it's not illegal for these people. If they say, I got this tape, yeah, you could blur stuff out. It could be a great news story. It could help them. If I were them, I'd go to the people that are on the tape and say, I want to help you, right? I want to help you. There's a way for you to come forward because we can't guarantee that other people don't have copies of it. So you need to come forward, blur this and that out, right? And come out and say, you're a victim of Sean Combs. You're not there voluntarily. So it's sticky. Like, I know what they're talking. I know who they're talking about. So, but look, everybody's kind of sticking their neck out and they're all kind of grabbing, like Busby right now is the freight train. Like I'm kind of pushed off the rails here for a minute.
Listen, he came in like a bull in a china shop and I loved it. I was sitting there in awe watching it. I was
Me too. I'm watching it tonight.
Wow.
Tonight I'm watching everything.
I'm gonna watch it. And listen, all the big lettering, and I said, this is a production. Listen, it felt good. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not celebrating someone's downfall. I'm celebrating the victory of the victims. We suffered
because he's that voice of multiple people. He's got the freight train behind him.
Power numbers.
He can come in and go, we know the federal government's doing their thing in the Southern District of New York, but we got victims in Florida, Texas, California, New York, Long Island. He's like, no more. He brought up the advocates. They're talking. They're saying, so look, it's going to keep them busy for years probably. Absolutely. And these lawsuits go slow. This is going to.
Don't I know? Listen, my lawsuit took 12 years to complete. 12 years.
Wow.
12 years. I mean, they take long, but that's unprecedented. A lot of attorneys said
too long. That's too long.
Ridiculously. But what it is it's an attempt to make you tap out. In that time that it was processing, I was harassed. I was followed. I was targeted. I was living like a targeted individual for that whole time.
You're spending money. You're losing money as you go. Yeah, absolutely.
It was traumatic. So in conclusion, because I know you have other things to do, and like I said, I appreciate you here. Looking back, would you have handled any part of the process differently to mitigate the fallout, or do you stand by the decision that you made?
Somebody asked that in the last interview. It's funny. I think a lot of people are thinking that when I pray on something, and if God says it, I wouldn't change anything. There's a reason I'm here. I have to do it. And if you rewound it, I would do it again. Yes.
I love that. I love that. That's a great answer. And that's my answer as well. So I love that. I love that. So many people have some things to say to you. I'm just going to say a couple of things. People are saying they admire you. People are saying they admire me. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. A couple of people said, turn that tape in. I don't want it in my hands. And yet he's the right person for a variety of reasons. Absolutely. People are saying, thank you, Natania and Chris. We appreciate all you guys that sat here with us. All of you who will watch it later. Chris, I thank you again. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I have to thank you for even bigger than this opportunity to interview you. I thank you for having the foresight and the God in your spirit to reach out to me.
Absolutely.
I was so walking on eggshells and a little triggered at that time.
Yeah,
and
I knew
you. I was very sensitive at that time. And when
I knew I had to reach out to you. Like I thought about it a little bit, but my gut said just reach out to her once. I think I either emailed you or
texted.
I don't remember how. Yeah, I might have told your number. Yeah, I knew. Just give her one shot. You know what I mean? So
And I thank you wholeheartedly. Thank you so much. And I love this beautiful friendship that we've developed. It's just the start of amazing things. And I appreciate you wholeheartedly. I stand by you. I am so proud of you for speaking truth to power and standing up against the system. It takes more people like us to be able to do this and change the world that we live in. Thank you so much. You and I will continue to speak.
We'll do it again. We'll do it
absolutely, again. Absolutely. And I'm so proud of you. And like I said, everybody within the sound of my voice, let's all put our hands together and touch and agree. Chris is going to receive the benefit of what he did. You have done so much for people. You are going to receive your money and more than you could imagine. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, guys.
You have a wonderful day, Chris. Guys, that was an amazing discussion. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let me give you a shout out. AMB, amen. Amen and Asheo. Black Gold 347, AMB, George Cervantes, Renee. You guys continue to comment, put your names. Let me see who you are so I can give you a shout out. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to be doing more of these stream type situations and interviewing more. I'm going to navigate my channel into thank you so much, a full-fledged podcast. I've told this story in interviews. Many of you have heard it. For those who haven't, when I was a little girl, I was 5 years old. I was with my grandmother and my grandmother's friend from Trinidad. They were best friends in the island of Trinidad, and they had lost contact. She came over first, and my grandmother came over afterwards. Her name was Jean Smith. They rediscovered each other and they rebuilt their friendship. And I never forget, I can visualize her now sitting in my grandmother's living room. Like the young people say, she was very demure and very cutesy and very, just quite the lady. And she said, Vivi, my grandmother's name was Vivian, God rest her soul. Vivi, you have to watch over this one. She is special. And my grandmother said, I know she has a gift. And she said, come here to me, young lady. And I walked over to her. She held my hand in her hand on her knee. And she said, she held my hand with her other hand, my chin, and said, hear me. People will come from far and wide to hear you speak. And as a 5-year-old, that was super heavy. Like, I didn't have the gravity and I was a brilliant child, but I didn't have the gravity of foresight to understand what that meant and what power that carried or what the call on my life would be. I had no way of knowing it. Another notable thing in my life, my dad was a jazz musician. Rest in peace to my dad. He was a jazz musician. And he would have me come in and singing all these standards, Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, all these old, he would have me, and my grandmother would have me. She's a vocalist. That's where I'm a singer as well. I'm going to start singing for y'all too on some of my posts. And I did a concert in my house last night, all the old greats. But she would have me singing as well, Sarah Vaughan and all these things. And I promise you, I was Iyanla Van Zant. Fix My Life Iyanla was my dance teacher growing up, from very young childhood all the way till I was a teenager. And we were in a dance competition, and we had to battle it out to see who would get the solo. And my solo was Billie Holiday, God Bless the Child That's Got His Own. And I knew at that moment, God was with me in that dance, and I felt the presence of God so strong. And God was telling me, your mama may have, and your papa may have, but God bless the child that got his own. I knew he was speaking to me about what the entirety of my walk would be. And I knew I had to have my own back. And that's what I've done. That's what I've done. This case is not easy. You'd be surprised. It makes a lot of people pick positions, sometimes out of fear, sometimes for whatever their reasoning is. I choose not to try to understand everyone's reasoning. I can't do that anymore. I used to spend so much time doing that. I refuse. It is not my duty to understand everybody's mentality and their point of view. I don't ask why anymore, because what does why yield you? If someone has done you wrong, or someone has done something to you, and you're like, but why? What is it that you're seeking with the answer why? Once they tell you why, suppose it's something totally unfavorable to you. How does that benefit you? Is there a prize that comes with the why? Instead of choosing to ask someone why, understand for yourself, how does this impact me? How does this make me feel? How do I reassess and move in the right direction going forward? How do I protect myself going forward? The why is a false sense of security. It's like when people say, he's breaking up with me, but I just want to talk to you one more time so I can know why. I need closure. Baby, that closure you're looking for, that ain't nothing but your own subconscious mind telling you, keep contact with him. Ask for closure, but engage him to talk to you one more time, or her to talk to you one more time, so you can have one more opportunity to win them over. Rejection is God's protection. Rejection is I love the elders too. It's God's protection. Sometimes we fight so hard to keep something that doesn't serve us. If you go in a kitchen and you're thirsty and you look and they say, oh, you're thirsty? Oh, go in the kitchen and get yourself something to drink. Make yourself at home. You walk over to the fridge. You're like, you know what? My stomach's a little butterflies. Let me have something to drink that'll settle my stomach. And there's a fresh pot of coffee. You pour that coffee. You like your coffee with a little cream or whatever. You take that coffee, you get ready to drink it, you go in and get the cream, and it's 3 months past the expiration date. You gonna use that? You putting that in your cup, or you gonna drink that black coffee? We keep things way past their expiration date. That includes people, items, states of mind, personality characteristics. We got to stop keeping things past their expiration date. If you turn that milk over to your cup of coffee, chunks will fall out. How will that serve you? What will the outcome be? It's not my duty to say, why does he have this old milk here? Who cares? All you got to know is that's not for you. You got to autocorrect and keep it pushing. We have to stop harping on, but why? It doesn't get anything, honestly. Like, we have been lulled into a false sense of, you got to know why. Don't waste your time with that. Waste your time autocorrecting and getting to where you need to be. And not waste your time. Use your time wisely in seeing how this situation impacts you, what God has called you to learn. And I always tell people, every time God makes you cross path with someone, it is for a reason. People use the word coincidence all the time. They are co-occurring incidences. There are two things God wants to occur. They want you to intersect. You know, people like to say, oh, she got 3 baby daddies. Well, guess what? Maybe she is her seed and her bloodline is so queenly. Hear me out. It may sound controversial. So queenly, and carries a characteristic and a measure of strength or something, or might or will or something so solid. God made her interact with these 3 different men at 3 different times, because his only intention was for that seed and that egg to intersect. That child may go on, or those 3 children may go on to change the trajectory of the world, of mankind forever. We have to stop judging these things. If God is the infinite, I had so many people throughout this healing, oh, you was at the wrong place at the wrong time. How? If God is the Alpha and Omega, and he knew us before we were a twinkle in our daddy's eye, how are you, random person, to tell me I was at the wrong place at the wrong time? While the pain was horrible and the suffering was much, God dropped a nugget. The Holy Spirit dropped a nugget of infinite wisdom on me many years ago, and it popped back in my head just now. It was 2003. It said, for we learn our greatest lessons at the edge of a sword, because as we recoil from the pain, the lesson is indelibly marked in our brain. That came straight from the Holy Spirit. Let me tell you something. The lessons that are hard won, we remember them forever. The stuff that comes by us super easy, child, that'd be in one ear and out the other in no time. But the lessons that we endure from pain, just like the Philistines poked Jesus' side, and he bled out, when that juke happens in your side, baby, when you recoil from that pain, you're indelibly connected to that lesson. It could be 50 years later, just like this gunshot heard around the world. 25 years later, it has taught me a lot. And the journey wasn't easy by far. I'm not going to even sit here and act like it was a cakewalk. I never have. It was not easy, but I tell you, the wisdom that I have gained in this 25 years, chef's kiss, immeasurable. Immeasurable. And outside of the fact that I had a lot of suffering, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Because guess what? I love the me that I am today. I love the wisdom that I have. I love the ability to come here and impart wisdom to people and exchange information with people. I love you guys. Some of you guys, like Renee, the love that you guys give me is so cathartic, is so healing and restorative to my soul. You guys do so much for me. You have no idea. What you said, you're putting in your application now to be a mod. Oh, absolutely. You got that. Hands down, baby. I thought that already. You are absolutely my mod. Absolutely. I love you guys too. I love you guys so much. I give a shout out to my grandmother, Vivian Emilia Mead. This woman was wise beyond her years. Wise. The woman was and I'm going to tell you something. My grandmother had this weird thing ever since I was a little kid. She would say, Father God, oh God, Lord, why you leave me here with these people? I want to come home with you, God. Bring me home. Why are you making me stay here with these people? And I used to cry. Grandma wants to die. Oh no, I was traumatized. My earliest, I can remember her saying that I was 4. I was like, why do you want to die, Grandma? I wasn't looking at it as she wants to go to God. I was looking at it as she doesn't want to be here with us. But I was young and I didn't understand the wisdom. Then I would cry. And then my kids came along, and my oldest son is my grandmother's favorite. Like, people say, oh, we don't have favorites. Yeah, we got favorites in families. Like, let's just keep it real. And listen, if you're not that person's favorite, don't feel no way. Whatever it is about God that instilled something in that person's eye to have a connection to that particular individual in the family, let them be. You know, when you grow up, if you decide that someone resonates with you in a special way, then you're entitled to have that relationship with them. But my grandmother came along, and my sons are 3 years apart, and then my sons are 15 and 18 years older than my daughter. My oldest son cried, oh, Grandma wants to die. Why is she saying she wants to die? Then my middle son came along, Mommy, Grandma wants to die. My daughter came along years later. I said, listen here. She was crying. Her brother said, child, Grandma been saying that since I was a kid. But guess what? She lived a long, ripe old age. And she imparted so much wisdom. And when the Most High was ready for her, he said, job well done, good and faithful servant. Come on home. See, she had other generations to cultivate. It wasn't that she didn't want to live. It was that she loved God so much. And you know what they say? Your spirit, your flesh house, carries a spirit that has lived many cycles, many lives. And when they say is, when your cycle here is complete, you know how something is always said in a movie, go to the light, and that means you're going to, they say don't go to the light. If you go to the light, you are going to be reincarnated and end back up in God, in this realm of earth. My daughter once said, America is a third world nation and a Gucci belt. So is this life. I'm going to that darkness. When you go to the darkness, your soul goes on to its next level of life and next incarnation in life. You go to the light. That's why they put that in movies so much, to keep recycling your soul to come back here and go through the suffering again. My grandmother's soul was on its last mission. It knew that it was time to go on and complete the work. But we were her last assignment. She had to stay here. She lived 97 years. She had to stay on this earth 97 years to impart her generations and all the people that came her way with the wisdom God instilled in her. The woman was brilliant. When I was little, my grandmother used to be like, you must take magnesium and you have to have potassium in your blood. And she had a Buster Brown shoebox on her kitchen table with all these vitamins, and she would take all her vitamins every day. And people's like, "What are you spending all that money on them vitamins? What are you wasting all that money on them vitamins?" There came a time where my grandmother fell and broke her hip. She didn't walk for 3 years. And people used to come by her bed, the ladies on the block that were her age or a little older or younger, and come by her bed. "Oh, Vivi, I'm so sorry. Oh, let me come and sit with you." Because guess what? My grandmother outlived all of them. I'm talking people that were going on safaris and meeting boyfriends in Africa and living their best life and flashy and jewelry. My grandmother outlived them all. All of the women that used to sit by her bed and read with her, she outlived them all. She learned how 3 years later, God just blessed her. Whew, she walked again. My grandmother was thriving for maybe 10, 15 years after a lot of those ladies were gone. The woman had work to do. God blessed us, every generation of my family, to have 5 generations alive at one time. Do you know how unique that is? My children were all blessed with the ability to know their great-great-grandmother. I grew up with my great-grandmother. I'm a grandma's girl. I'm talking maternal and paternal. I'm a grandma's girl. So are my kids. There is a wisdom that comes from the elders, and we forget that. We these young people, I love you guys too. These young people have it in their mind that, everything is about youth. Don't be fooled. Ain't nothing like that old wisdom. And they may not be academically educated and book smart, but book smart ain't everything. Book smart ain't everything. You want to know what's a key point? And I'm not bigging him up. I feel like he is truly a product of his environment. And he was a product in this YSL case. I always mention it because to me, it is the battle of the haves and the have-nots in Atlanta. Atlanta is under the great gentrification. And this case is the talented 10th ass Black people trying to say, "Oh, you hood ends, stay in your place." And who y'all should have never gave these ends money. That's what this is. Make no mistake. When educated people weaponize their intellect and their power to harm people who are socioeconomically disparaged, your talented and 10th ass people, this is a chocolate city. These are your colleagues and your cousins and your mammy and them that's miseducating these hood children. Why are they all variety of ages? We know people our age that are undereducated. We know people that can't string together verb and subject agreements. How? They all went to publicly mandated school. Why are there some people who have the most ridiculous vocabulary like me and then other people across the road who can't string 2 vowels together properly? Why? Because it is a system of the haves and the have-nots. Let's keep that a buck. And this case is a microcosm of the macrocosm of the oppression and this matrix that we're going through. It's systems trying to keep others down. When I say that, I was referencing Woody, Lil Woody. He has his flaws. By no means is he perfect, nor am I, or any of us. But as much as he is not academically educated and formally educated, he wise. He taught a lot of us. He certainly taught me a lot. He taught a lot of us. He taught a lot of them talented 10th ass people in that courtroom something. He said, "Didn't you tell the cops that such and such?" He said, "Child, I was lying. I always lie to the cops. We be finessing them. We tell them anything just so we can get out." Here's the thing. They are in a community where they are arrested far more than the average person because that is the system trying to keep those people down, trying to keep a subsection of our culture and our race down because they're trying to maintain a servitude class. Nothing worse than them for people that they believe to be uneducated ninjas that they think are beneath them and need to stay beneath them to be millionaires and to take all your homies with you to try to teach them something and show them a better life. It's an abuse. We have to know what this is. We have to get out of this preconceived notion that, oh, it's the thing of good and evil. No, that attorney, that DA Love, that is one of the most unscrupulous, crooked ass people I've seen in a million years. This woman is unscrupulous. The amount of symbols and, they're doing hand signals and rubbing their ear. back and forth to the judge. What are we watching? Understand that if you can't stand back and watch that stuff and be comfortable with it, because if they can do it to them, they'll do it to your black son too. And they will do it to you. Another thing, this narrative that white people made up and paid black people to carry forth and espouse. And these black people try to double down even after the white people said, all right, we lied, we made it up. We just wanted to bring attention to our topics and we weren't getting enough attention. You guys were listening to the Democrats, so we had to make something up. It took the white DA and the mayor and all that and the governor of the state to come out and say, that is a lie. This narrative is a lie. I don't know why Trump and his boy is going on and Vance are going on with this lie. It's a total lie. This whole Haitians are eating cats and dogs. Cut the shit. Cut it out. You talk about Caribbean people like that. We are all black. We're all black. Because if you really must know, there are people in this world that eat cats and dogs. But y'all don't want to discuss that because y'all like their shrimp fried rice too much. We have a proven record that these suckers be fried that and sauteing cats and dogs. And y'all like to take y'all behinds there on a Friday, get you a little bottle and go get you some General hoo-ha-ha fried chicken and that shrimp rice and all this stuff. Y'all like to go there. You can't even identify any of that meat. All that batter, heavily batter fried, this, that, and the third. Y'all can't identify that. But you want to talk about the Haitians, the first black nation to win their independence. That's who y'all doubling down on. I always tell you, nobody robs an empty store. They keep coming for the Haitians. Ask yourself why. That is one of the strongest group of black people on this earth. Haiti is not poor. They have more gold reserves than America and a lot of nations. Their gold reserves have a higher GDP than a whole bunch of countries in this world. Haiti is by no means poor in culture, in assets, in minerals, in natural resources, none of that. You know what Haiti is? A victim of the Clinton Foundation, okay? And other oligarchs that's stealing their money. This narrative, they're eating cats and dogs and geese. Where? Because the internet is full of pictures. I got a picture in my phone of a freeze-dried cat in a gelatinous substance that this guy picked up that they dropped off of a truck at one of y'all favorite shrimp fried rice restaurants. Cut the shenanigans. Stop falling for the old rhetoric. There was a lot of black people on TV. Oh, they eat them. I'm telling you, I know Haitian people. They be eating cat. They garbage. My godmother's Haitian. I grew up with Haitians. I'm Caribbean. That is just another island in the Caribbean. My daughter-in-law family is Haitian. I will not stand for any of that. I will not stand for any of that. In memory of my godmother, God rest her soul, the great Irene St. Victor. I'm not tolerating it. Y'all gonna stop this foolishness out here. When you don't speak up, when you hear somebody espousing foolishness, you're complicit, just like this case. That's how he was able to get away for 24 years, almost 25 years, because people let it ride. When you see something you know ain't right, don't let it ride. Don't let it ride. When you let it ride, you're complicit. When you let people stand up and say other black people are eating cats and dogs, whether you know them or not, whether you can understand, why are you saying it? Some of the greatest revolutionaries in this world were Haitian people. Jean-Jacques Dessalines, Toussaint Louverture. Understand, know your thing. And yes, je parle français. I'm multilingual. I need y'all to understand this. I ain't even just fluent in English. I'm not going to tolerate this. I've been educated by some of the most amazing Haitian people in my life. I went to a school called the Bilingual Center, Centre Bilingue, where you either had to speak French or Spanish. You had to be on an academic path on the French side of the school or the Spanish side of the school. I'm not tolerating this foolishness, and we shouldn't either. Don't let people dog your people like this. Do you know the Haitian militia, they said it was less than 3,000 people. In primitive days, 1802 was able to defeat Napoleon's army that was considered the undefeatable army of 30,000 plus people. Sent them packing with a whack on their ass. Haitians were the first wop, 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 wop. How dare y'all sit back and disrespect us? They paved the way so that we could have freedom. How dare y'all tolerate this? I'm not going to stand for it. And if you stand for that and you believe in that kind of foolishness and you on my page, exit stage left. It was nice having you. I'm not going to tolerate none of that. And none of us should. We got to stop this narrative. We need to put some respect on their name. Haitians are the reason that all other Black nations and Black people got their freedom. Let's not forget that. If you haven't watched 1802 by Tariq Nasheed, who also created Hidden Colors, if you're not familiar with the Hidden Colors 5-part docuseries, get on top of it. Google Hidden Colors by Tariq Nasheed and watch it. He may be a galvanizing figure in other ways. I feel like that. I don't agree with everything he says, but you better watch this documentary series. There's the original Hidden Colors all the way through part 5. There's 1802, and then there's some other stuff. I have the director of my docuseries, Shot. He created a docuseries called The School to Prison Pipeline. His name is Raheem Shabazz. Raheem Shabazz. Go look it up. Go look it up. We need to get on our documentary-ish. You see Hollywood is crumbling, right? I forecasted this. I said the Hollywood as we know it is crumbling. You didn't miss the interview. You're not too late. You'll be able to watch it on the replay also. But yes, the interview part with Chris is gone. Yeah, he logged off. But you'll be able to see it on the replay. I hope I've done this right to be able to replay it. I hope this is not just live, and I hope it recorded. But I'm going to believe for faith all of y'all touch and agree that it recorded, and you guys will be able to see the playback. But we have to make sure that we are standing for what is good and righteous. We have to, and I'm gonna tell you something. This particular weekend was a little tough for me. You're welcome, Shawnee. Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the Nerd Herd. Listen, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, all that. Thank you, baby Latoya. I appreciate you. Latoya said, great interview. You did a great job. You both did a great job. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. Say it. That's right. I don't listen. I keep telling people keep trying to do me dirty. I'll be like, don't do it to yourself, honey. Don't do it to yourself, because guess what? God don't play about me. When I say I've watched God put people in full Nelsons for 54 years, don't do it to yourself. It doesn't. I say it from an empathetic place. Like, I don't want this to happen to you, please. Some people are, who are you supposed to be? What's that supposed to mean? And then next thing you know, I'm like, you ain't gonna make it to the corner. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't waste your time. And they always do. And they always be like, oh, watch out for her. She a witch or something. I'm not a witch. I'm a child of God. And I warned you that God don't play about me. But if you choose to, step on a crocodile's back and then he bites your foot off, why are you mad at the crocodile? He just crocodiling. Don't be mad. Hey, Trina. Oh, thank you. Trina says your friend. Trina is my friend, my personal. This is my homie Pastromi. We just went to the Buju Banton concert recently because that's her favorite. Shout out to Trina, y'all. Show some love to my homie. She said, friend, your strength, your faith in God, awareness, intelligence, courageous, and fearless spirit helps. Keep talking, love. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. There were times when I was little where they'd be like, stop talking, you talk too much. But guess what? I keep telling people, you're not creating a quiet child. You are stealing a future orator from the world. Let people talk. Let's also stop trying to manage people's emotions. People are like, oh, you and your feelings. Oh, get out your feelings. And, what you got to get angry for? Listen, this range of emotions we got, God gave us this. How dare anybody step into my life and try to relegate me to only 3 of this range of emotions God gave me? If he gave us 9 emotions, I'm using all my 9. Y'all can go ahead and save your emotions for a rainy day. That's your business. That's right. Shout out to Trina. Woo! That's my homie forever and a day. One of the first people I met coming to Atlanta, and she has been a friend to the end. She is a woman of God. I promise you, I learned so much from Trina. Y'all shouted out for my girl, Trina. She is super dope. Super dope. Her amazing children and all of that. I've known her for so long, and I love her. And listen, it's what true friendship is. True friendship doesn't mean you have to jump on the phone every day. True friendship doesn't mean you're eating at each other's house every week. True friendship means whenever ish gets sticky, I can turn to you, even if for a kind word, and you're there. That's what true friendship means. True friendship means whenever we speak, it's like we never missed a day. We got to understand that. And we have to be true friends to people. We have to be that which we want from friends. We can't walk around and be half a friend and want a whole friend. If you have somebody in your life, I keep telling people, because these are profound things the Most High keeps telling me to say. There was a young lady that used to come to my shop, and she was like, oh, I cut this one off, and I cut that one off, and I cut this one off. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? Why are you blocking your blessing? It's like, what are you talking about? He ain't do nothing for me. She don't do nothing for me. I cut her off. I'm like, listen, when you have someone in your life that doesn't do anything for you, it's because God sent you to do something for them. If you cutting everybody out their life because they're not doing nothing for you, you're missing your blessings. You said, oh, well, I'm good. I got this, I got that. I said, but you could have a mansion if you did what you were supposed to do. If you followed what you were supposed to do, if you honored God by doing something for those people, then we got to think deeper than just what can I get from somebody. Is what can you give? Is how everything should be mutually beneficial. And you can't always count. Love doesn't keep score. And it doesn't have to be eros love. Eros love is intimate partner love. It could just be agape love. I love you just because you exist and you're one of God's amazing blessings to this world. Agape, universal love. We have to understand. I'm going to do a series on love. A lot of people can't figure out why their love doesn't work with somebody else's love, because you may be in a relationship with someone that you have eros love for and they just got agape love for you. That's not the same love. But most people have not been educated about this. Most people don't know. Keep telling people I went to theology school. People think I just be like, oh, God this and Jesus this and God. Baby, I went to theology school because I had questions that nobody could answer. Because I've been running from a calling to the pulpit for a long time. And I have this thing in me and I just needed answers. Thank you, Starlight. I appreciate it. Amen, baby. I've needed answers, and so help me God. I said, let me go to theology school. Perhaps the answer is there. And I learned a lot. And a lot resonated. It taught me so much, and it resonated and filled in the blanks. And it was very vital to who you know today. I'd like to think of myself, and everybody that knows me typically says, I've always been this great person. And I'm not perfect by any means. I'm fallible just like everybody else. God is still working on me. Because, baby, as much as I'm a spiritual woman, you step on the pinky, that bad pinky toe with the corn, the flesh, I'll read you from sun up to sundown. But, I don't hold a grudge. Like the Bible says, anger, but sin not. I give you that 2 pieces of a biscuit and I keep it pushing. And I say, hey, what we doing, lady? You want to go eat? Because I don't hold malice. Perhaps if we lighten our load and end our attachment to not just things and people, but anger, resentment, malice, holding grudges, we have to end our connection to that too. As always, guys, I love you. It's so cathartic for me. I'm promising you. You guys, I feel the love. I appreciate you. I'm so inspired by the things you say. It means the world to me. A lot is happening now. What brings me joy is that I felt vindication in myself already. So I didn't need vindication from the world. I did want justice, but I didn't need vindication from the world. I appreciate it. Big up. However, it is not lost on me that there are people suffering as a result of this. Because a lot of the new victims that have come out, the additional 120, listen, for whatever time their abuse occurred, these are people walking around abused. A lot of people are walking around abused. Some of this 120 could be people that you worked with. The lady you say, I don't know what her problem is. She always mean, got an attitude. What's her problem? She get on my nerve. She may be an abused victim, coping. Sometimes that aggression and that mean-spiritedness is just a coping tactic. Thank you. I love you too. I love you too. And you are definitely my mod. You're my chief mod. Thank you, boo. I appreciate it. God's time is now. Hallelujah. And I'm going to tell you something. it is not lost on me that people that have come forward lately to say I've been victimized have suffered all this time too. So check with your people, check on your strong friends, check with the people in your life right now. If all of this, if they were able to add 120 people to the abuse in spite of everybody else, who are you interacting with in your daily life that has been abused or is being abused by somebody? Open your eyes, not just your two eyes, but your third eye, because true vision doesn't require sight. You could be blind. Listen to the octave of people's voices. Listen to the reaction of children when an adult enters the room, a particular adult. If they're normally lighthearted and somebody comes in the room and they come and sit next to your leg and draw close to you, pay attention to that. And I don't care if the people are related to you by bloodline, pay attention to it, because there are more people than we are. There you go. AC said there are more people who have been abused than what we know. Absolutely. And if you could just hear somebody or let God shine through what you know, and you can see somebody's need and you can speak to them, hey, what's going on, girl? I noticed something about you. I feel a little heaviness. You okay? Is there something I can do for you? You need somebody to talk? I'm always here. When you first approach them, they may not talk on the first or second time, because people have to develop triggered people. We have to learn how to trust people. And so we may test it a few times to make sure it's trustworthy, because we've been bitten before. But just be consistent and be that trustworthy person so that they have a safe place to fall. Everybody needs a safe place to fall. I also want you guys to know this last weekend, the two storm days, the kids had Thursday and Friday off. And so my daughter was at her best friend's house, and I spent the entire weekend by myself. My son and my daughter-in-law and all of them were in Florida for his bachelor party. They had their whole wedding party out there and they had fun. And I was by myself. And I'm telling you, I went through an emotional and I said, Father God, I invite you into the space. I need to do something with this energy. Help me. And guess what I did? I wrote a book. It's called A Shot in the Dark. And so it's fiction, guys, because I started my memoir, but I can't complete it. I was going to put it out. I can't complete it now because look at all this update and this unfolding. I have to wait. But I did write a fiction book, and I'm starting the pre-sale. You'll be able to go in and order it. My daughter is making the thumbnail. Please, it is a page turner. The book is so profound. At many times I was writing, I stopped and cried because I had to get all this stuff out of me. And so help me God, when I I typed out the final words, I sat there and bawled in my bed like a baby. I bawled so hard, but I needed to get it out. Baby, when I tell you this book is a page turner, I'm not saying it because I wrote it. Because baby, if somebody else wrote it, I wouldn't. But get this book. It's called A Shot in the Dark. It will be available on Amazon KDP. It is fiction. So any of you haters out there, y'all go now. I got a disclaimer in the book that says any connection or similarity to any person living or deceased is pure coincidence. This is an act of fiction, a work of fiction, and any characters are merely fiction. Y'all grab this book. When I tell it was therapeutic, baby. When I tell you, I sat in my room, underarms funky and all, for about 2 days. I didn't care. One day I didn't eat at all. One day I didn't leave my bedroom. I stayed up there. I took I took a spiral notebook and plotted out all of my characters and all of I wrote it longhand and then went in it. Once I developed all the major characters and all these little nuances that I wanted them to have, then I went in and I started writing. And when I tell you, child, when y'all get this book, I want us to have a book club. Y'all gonna laugh, y'all gonna cry. Tell a friend, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, please join my page. I want to get to monetization because these YouTube streets is a little meager right now. Yeah, girl, listen, I'm gonna just be 100% candid. At this point in my life, everywhere I go, people recognize me. Everybody's not kind. A lot of them are nice, but everybody's not kind. The stream is getting ready to end. I'm gonna come back on YouTube live if people want to see me, but this stream is about to end because it's a 2-hour stream. And we're at like 1:59:15. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, a lot of people are recognizing me. I can't tell you, every time I go to Kroger, somebody is sneak taking a picture of me and posting it, and I can tell they recognize me. They're doing little things and walking by me 12 times to make sure it's me, and I can tell. It's cumbersome and it's hard to interact with the outside world. So show your girl some love if you choose to. Feel free to send your girl a little, like a love offering. My Cash App is up there. You don't have to. Don't feel obligated. But if you choose to, it would be appreciated. Also, get this book. Get this book. When I tell you, I'm not one to brag and toot my own horn, but baby, I outdid myself. Y'all get the book now. Y'all hear? The stream is about to go off because it's supposed to be just a 2-hour stream. So thank you guys that joined us. I'm so happy I was able to talk to Chris. I'm going to do more with Chris. And like I said, people have their opinions of him, but all I can tell you is what I know to be certain. This man did not know me. This man had this book in his possession. He read that segment about my case. He didn't have to do it. And this is what makes me know he is a man of God. So many people have my phone number. I do not know how all these people have my phone number. I just don't understand. Every single media outlet has my phone number and my emails and all types of stuff. I don't get it. They've even emailed me and CC'd all these different emails, which were old emails I had. And then some emails, I'm like, who the hell, who are they sending my business to? Because I don't even know these emails. But they think that they're connected to me for some reason. And so they CC them all in the thing. And everybody is calling me. Everybody has my phone number. Not my business number, my personal number. He sent me a text and said, hi, you don't know me, but I have something that I think you need to see. I was skeptical. I'm a skeptic. And once your trust and your safety has been violated, you are skeptical. So I was like, oh, what is this? I was with my daughter's best friend's mom, and we were, the girls were together and we were together. And she was like, you sure you want to answer? I had to answer first on one of those little text phone numbers because I wasn't sure who it was. And I just was like, well, what do they mean? They have something I would need to know. And so I waited. I held back for a while. I wouldn't respond. And then when I did respond, I kept giving these long. And then he was like, well, look. I said, well, what is it that you have to show me? What is it that I need to see? And he said, I'm going to send you an email. I was a little skeptical. Then I gave it to him. And when he sent it to me, he said, prepare yourself. It's going to be emotional. But I thought you deserved to see this. I have this information. I'm going to put this book out eventually, but I want you to see this before it lands into the public. And this is months ago. And when I read it, I promise you, listen, for all the tears I ain't cried my whole life, baby, they've been coming lately. I laid in that bed in a fetal position. My daughter was like, and he said, I need your confidence. You can't show this to anybody. So I had to ride this emotional train by myself. By myself. I cuddled up in a fetal position. I ain't washed my ass for 2 days. I could not move because this woman was speaking from beyond the grave, telling the story of my case that I've said for 25 years, that people chose not to believe. And here was her own telling of the entirety of the day after. I was just like, you know what it feels like to tell a story, to say something and everybody's saying you a liar? It's one thing for everybody to think you're a liar for a year. You know what it is for people to think you're a liar for 25 years? Listen, there are people out here in these internet streets that ain't been alive for 25 years. And baby, they harassing me. They wasn't even alive when it happened. So they think I'm a straight cap. Plus, I realize invisible scars. I look whole. But this is God talking to y'all. He wants you to know he is real. This is God talking to you. Look at my face. This is God saying, I am real. I exist. How else will you know of God's majesty and wisdom and grace and mercy and power and dominion? But for the fact that I got shot with a bullet called a cop killer. And here I sit 25 years later of sound mind and body. Got a few extra pounds. And the internet reminds me of it. Who y'all calling BBW? Anyway, I digress. You understand what I'm saying? How will you know of God's majesty if he doesn't show it to you? Do you know this is the little incarnation of biblical stuff? When this one went on the mountain and God gave them a word, when this one parted the Red Sea, when this one did this, it sounds like madness now in current times. But I keep telling you people, a lot of y'all, when Yeshua comes back to save y'all, whole bunch of people gonna miss out because they're gonna be like, this sucker capping. They ain't no Yeshua. Or as the world calls him, Jesus. Baby, whole lot of y'all gonna miss out. Whole lot. We don't believe in anything. We have become such skeptics. We believe in nothing. We side eye everybody. We do. And so when Yeshua comes back and he's doing signs and wonders and miracles and smiting the fig tree, y'all gonna miss out. In the Bible, it said he smited the fig tree and the fig tree was flowing when they went in. And when he came out, the fig tree was dead. Y'all gonna see the fig tree and be like, oh, he got a fungus or something. That tree didn't die. Instead of you can't know of God's majesty until he shows you his works. Am I not the living incarnation of God's majesty? Look at my face. You know what my daughter said? Would y'all like to know a little secret? I don't need glasses. None of these have prescription. They are all stunning. I have the white closet system. I have a whole section with, y'all ain't even seen the half of my glasses. None of them are prescription. My daughter had to sit me down and have a conversation with me the other day. You know what she said to me? Mommy, you don't need your security blanket anymore. And I was like, what? What security blanket? I ain't got no security blanket. She said, Mommy, your glasses. We went somewhere and I forgot my glasses. I don't got my glasses. Oh my God. She's like, you don't need your security blanket anymore. And I was like, what are you talking about, security blanket? She said, Mommy, you wear the glasses as a form of protection. It's your last defense to protect yourself. You have now overcompensated in protecting your nose and your face because of getting shot. And I was like, wow. She's 17. She was 16 when she said it to me. She's 17. It's profound. It's the truth. You know how hard it is for me to not wear my glasses? I know most people can't see that I got shot. Do you know? It's like they say when someone is like a big girl or a big guy and then they go get gastric bypass or Ozempic and they lose all the weight. In their mind, they still see the big guy. They still see the big girl. They could be slim, trim. They still see that big girl. I still see a deformed nose. While I look good, my face is different. I'm telling you, you know how when you walk by a mirror, like a store window, and it kind of, you see your reflection, but it distorts it a little? Oh, I used to be repulsed. I could not look in store reflections. My nose looks so distorted and gross to me. And I know most people can't tell, but it's very profound. Yeah, baby, honey, it is crazy when your kids start raising you. But I got the benefit of seeing that when I first got shot. My kids were 7 and 10. Thank you. Thank you, Latoya. She said I still look good. Thank you. Let me tell you something. When my kids were 7 and 10, I got the benefit of my kids raising me. Do you know my kids had to raise me? There was a point where I was no good to anyone. I promise you, I was a shell of a woman. Shell. And I'm going to tell y'all something. You hear these stories about people becoming drug addicts. I don't have an addictive personality. But because I was injured, I had swelling of the brain. I had seizures. I had PTSD. I had social anxiety disorder. I tore my medial meniscus. My leg was trampled. I had to have surgery on my leg. I was in tremendous pain. Tremendous. I used to have migraines, seizures, the laundry list of medical issues I got from getting shot. You would not believe it. And then the worst part, I used to resent that my face was whole. I know that sounds crazy. And I had survivor's guilt. I used to resent that my face was whole. I said, if my face was disfigured slightly, people would give me more empathy. People didn't give me empathy. People would say things like, all right, all right, all right. You done told me that story. You done told me that story. How many times you gonna say it? Just be happy you're alive. What you want to die? You want to die? Because you know, as black people, baby, we gaslight the out of each other. Oh, if we ain't gaslighting, it ain't real. If we ain't gaslighting, yeah. If we're not gaslighting each other, we don't feel right. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Yeah. Let me tell you something. You see this? This is where the entry wound is. Got a little foundation on, so you probably can't see. But from this side, you can see the whole tear down in my nose. So, and this side is fuller. So you know that bubble gland you have in the back of your nostril is called your nasopharynx. That whole mechanism with that bubble gland up here and all the mechanisms attached to it is called your nasopharynx. Because of where my entry wound is, my youngest son had to raise me when I was going through a divorce. Yes, and having surgery. You had cervical spine surgery? I had lumbar spine surgery. You have scoliosis? Latoya, you have scoliosis? I have scoliosis. I had to listen, my whole life story, baby. If it wasn't a testimony from God, when I was a formally trained dancer, I told you, Iyanla Van Zant was my dance teacher. I was a serious, formally trained dancer since I was 3. Dance was my life, dancing and singing. I grew up in the arts. Oh, you have lupus. Okay. I have scoliosis. I self-diagnosed my scoliosis at the age of 9. I didn't know what scoliosis was. I only knew that I could feel my body, God bless you, sis, changing. And here's the crazy thing, because as black people are some gaslighting people. We got some stuff we need to work on before we meet our maker. We got some stuff. So the adults, my family's Caribbean, the adults around us used to think that I was popping my hip and posing. Stop posing up yourself. Why anytime big people come around, you only standing in the corner, posing up your hip and popping out your hip. Be a child, go sit down and be a child. And I was like, what the F are they talking about? I didn't know what they were talking about. I was like, I'm not posing up my hip. What are they talking about? And my mom used to wear this big diamond peacock ring. You know those round dome that had a bunch of diamonds in it? And she used to catch me in my hip. Wow! Go sit down. Only posing up yourself. Who you think is? You're grown. You're fresh. I was like, I don't know what these people are talking about. Like, they hate me. Why are they doing this to me? I don't know what they're talking about. And then one day I read this book. You guys remember a child author named Judy Blume? She made the infamous Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret book. Most of us got to that book when we were about 11 or 12. Well, she made a book called Deanie first. Yes, West Indian, you know, West Indian people, honey, baby. Well, she had a book called Deanie, and I was 9 years old when I read Deanie. And all the things that Deanie was explaining is the stuff that I was going through. My skirt was higher on one side. I could pull up my stuff even. I love Judy Blume too. I could pull my skirt up on my pants evenly, and one leg was always higher than the other. Couldn't figure it out. But it was just me. So I just was like, oh, this is me. This is how I am. Instead of them listening to me, they would gaslight me. I have to call it abuse because that diamond ring hurt like a mug. Popping me in my hip. I actually have a bruise on my hip from the fact that she used to catch me virtually in the same spot and hit me in my hip and say, stop posing up yourself, stand up straight. You're only posing up. One time I was accused of posing up when men come into the room. I was like, what? And guess what it was? I'm reading this book. This girl, Deanie, is experiencing all these things. It's all the same stuff I'm experiencing. I'm like, wait a minute. And then it says, my grandmother took me to get a test, and they said I have, and I saw this big word, and I just guessed, and I said, sclerosis. I have sclerosis. I went in my mother's room. You know black people, you know black kids. I went in my mother's room. Mommy, I help. I got sclerosis. She said, you don't have shit. Get out my room. I was like, trust me, I have sclerosis. You got to help me. Baby. She did not want to listen to me. I had to beg this woman for eons. And then finally my grandmother was like, oh God, no glory. Well, take the girl to the doctor and see what the doctor say. Why? Just take the child. What happened? And then my mother was like, ha! And she took me begrudgingly to the doctor. And the doctor was like, so young lady, what brings you here today? And I was like, I have sclerosis. And he was like, sclerosis? What makes you think that? And he said, tell me what it is that makes you think you have sclerosis. And I said, well, my skirt is always one side higher and my hip is higher on one side and my arm kind of bends and it just sinks into this little space in my side where my hip is higher. And he was like, He said, and who told you this? I said, I figured it out myself. And he was like, how old are you? I said, 9. He said, well, typically scoliosis doesn't show up in a 9-year-old. That's a little too early. He said, well, it's not. I have good news and bad news. He said, my mother said, well, what's the good news? He said, you don't have sclerosis. She said, get your jacket. Let's go. He said, but hold on. You have scoliosis. And I'd like to know how you figured that out. And so I said, yes, Trini. Yes, Trini. And I said, I was reading this book and the girl was going through all the same stuff, but I already knew I was having it. I just didn't know it. There was a name for it. And then he said, you have scoliosis. I then had to wear a brace. And listen, the braces, my daughter ended up having scoliosis and I diagnosed hers at 6. Doctor told me, shoo, you can't see scoliosis in a 6-year-old. I said, I can see it. Check her out. She refused to check my daughter. By the time she was 7, a year later, she went to the doctor for something else. And that main doctor was absent that day, but they gave us another doctor. And guess what? I said to that doctor, hey, I have concerns. I think my daughter has scoliosis. Can you send us for a referral? And she was like, scoliosis doesn't show up in 7-year-olds. But you know what? Just to ease your fears, Mom, I'll send you. So she told my daughter, bend over, touch your feet. My daughter, she ran her hand down her spine. She was like, well, I feel a little, but I'll send you for the referral. Sent me to the referral. These 2 white lady specialists, they're like, no, scoliosis is not diagnosed at 7. No, there's no way. I said, I have insurance. Do me the honor. We have a referral. Take a film of her. Do the film. What are you going to lose? Well, you don't see scoliosis in 7-year-olds, but okay. They take the film. They come back in the room. They're like, I said, well, what is it? Well, the oddest thing, wouldn't you know? She has a curve, 4-degree curve. How could you see that? 4-degree is invisible to the naked eye. I said, I have scoliosis. And so I can see the trajectory of what I saw on myself originally. I can see it forming in her. They were like, before they did the film, they were like, a lot of parents try to project their own things onto their kids. I'm like, just hear me out. I don't want what happened to me to happen to my daughter. When I used to go to HIP, it was a health insurance plan in New York. It was a managed care. So you go to all the HIP doctors. Well, somebody in the file room inadvertently stuck my scoliosis report in somebody else's file. So for 1 year, even though it was discovered that I had scoliosis, I went 1 year with no treatment, which took my curvature from when they first discovered it, it was like, I think 8 or 9 degrees curvature. A year later, I was 15 degrees curvature. They had to then rush and get me a brace. And this was a huge fiberglass Frankenstein looking nasty brace with these Velcro straps that I used to have to pull it tight and then fold the Velcro over. It was horrible. I looked bulky and crazy looking and it was crazy. Well, yeah, they're very lazy, honey. They want to passively raise kids. But and I'm so sorry that you had to be victimized and called a liar for over 3 decades. Well, I guess this is the home of, you see, we find our tribe. This is a platform of healing, indeed. And they say, damn shame you had to diagnose. Yeah, because the people wouldn't listen. People wouldn't listen to me. And they lost my thing for 1 year. By the time another year rolled around, guess what? When I had my surgery at 17, guess what my curvature was? I grew so much because I was a dancer and I was tall as a young girl. Guess what my degree angle was? I was 32-degree angle curvature of the spine. I started being like, sometimes you'll see me sitting in a chair and I'll be like pulling myself over because when I look at myself, I can still see a little curvature, like my shoulder. You'll see me do this, like adjust my shoulders because I want to make sure that I'm looking even. I was a 32-degree curve when they did my surgery. And when I was 17, they corrected me to 19 inches. I have a metal rod in my spine with screws and everything. Now, mind you, I was skinny as a whip. But over the years, childbirth, gaining weight, this, that, the other. And so I'm huge right now for this metal rod. And so, But I don't know, why do I have the feeling like somebody's watching me in my office? This big window. Hold on a second. I had to close that because it felt like somebody was watching me in my window. It was weird. I just kept getting this sensation. But I had to endure all this stuff. And not only did I have to wear a brace for a number of years, I then had to wear, after my surgery, I was in a body cast. Listen, you can't make this up. I was in a body cast for 9 months. The first one they put on me, they suspend you on these 2 straps and then they wrap the cast and they have to make a cutout for your breast. And as you can see, I'm busty. I've been a little ample for a while. And they have to make a cutout for your stomach so that your stomach can. And I kept telling them, I think this is a little tight. Oh, no. You never had a body cast before. I'm telling you, it's fine. I was like, all my breasts were shallow. So finally they were like, the doctor was like, why are you breathing like this? You've been breathing like this for 2 days. What's going on? I said, keep telling the nurses and everybody, it's too tight. They had to then take me back into the room and they use a rotary saw to cut you out of the cast. They had to recast me. I had to learn how to walk again at 17. My mama and my grandmother had to wipe my hind parts and my nether regions after I was already a grown girl. I had to learn how to brush my teeth again. You don't understand that your spine is your central nervous system. It is the brain center for your body. So my mind was still willing, and I told myself I was fine. And I kept saying, just let me brush my teeth myself, because the nurse would come in and brush my teeth. I'm like, I'm 17. What are you brushing my teeth for? And she's like, okay, like a nurse's aide. And she was like, okay, like she put me to the sink. She put the toothpaste on my toothbrush. I was like, I could do it myself. I was trying to reach for the toothbrush. I couldn't even grab the toothbrush. I knew where it was. I was reaching. I couldn't grab it. She then took it and put it in my hand and raised my hand. And I had toothpaste all over my face. Your central nervous system in your spine is connected to your brain. I had to learn how to do everything all over again. And then a few years later, once I healed, because I was desperate to get back to normal, and then I ended up having my first child. And then a few years later, I had my second child, and then I got shot. So this has been a journey. But you know what? Listen. Oh yeah, I used to go through pain, but here's what. Now I went through a lot of pain from this one gunshot, from this spinal surgery and the leg injury and all that. But let me tell you what I did. I've mastered the art of meditation. So help me God, I don't take any pills. I don't take any medication anymore. I have a full-fledged seizure disorder. I meditate. I meditate like I don't feel any pain. No pain lives in my body. I say my body functions at 100% capacity for which God intended. All of my organs function like factory reset. They function the way God intended originally for humans to function. Every iota of my body is healthy. My blood is healthy. My lungs are full of fresh, clean air. I meditate everything away. And so help me God, I don't take any pills or medicine. I don't even take pills for pain. That was my first thing I did. Baby, I omitted, because they give you so much pills. I had what they call lean in the street, promethazine, these big bottles. I couldn't even swallow it. I was gagging like, I promise to God, I had to wean myself off of everything, because I will say, while I'm not an addicted person and I don't have an addictive personality, I grew a heavy dependence to Valium, because Valium is one of the only things that can stop a seizure. I had an incredible dependence on Valium, and they were more than happy to give it to me. You know when I realized I had a problem? When one day I could feel an aura. So when you develop seizures, an aura comes over you and you can feel the aura coming. You can tell when a seizure is on the horizon. And so I kept having this bad headache, and I could feel the aura coming. I was like, I got to get home so I could take this medicine. I don't want the seizure to come, because it's just dehumanizing. You can wet yourself when you have a seizure, all kinds of stuff. It's just humiliating. And so I was like, I need to get home, get the seizure medicine. I don't want to go through this. So help me God. I got home and I couldn't find my the Valium. I was like, I know I had it on my nightstand. Where the thing at? I start going, who touched my pills? You got my pills? Where's my medicine? And I'm going crazy on my family. And I looked at my kids and their eyes were like, in horror. Everybody was standing back looking at me in horror. And I was like, what you looking at me for? Give me my pills. And I'm going crazy. And then my son got down on the floor and he looked and he was like, Mommy, it fell between your bed and the nightstand. Here it is. It was under the bed. And they looked terrified. And I was like, oh my God, what have I become? And that was it. I said, I'm not taking no more. No more. They were terrified. They were walking on eggshells. I didn't even realize it. And I was just like, no, I have to get this pain out of my body. And so I started meditating. And I'm going to tell you, I would make my kids sit down. We would be, and me and my daughter do it. I listen to binaural beats. I listen to high frequency music. We have a Tibetan singing bowl. It took me a long time to get it. My daughter came one time with the palette. Bang, that thing was resonating. I was like, it took me a long time to be able to bang that thing. But trust me, the mind is a powerful thing indeed. Everything that we need in life, we already have. I promise you. Just believe that in me. Everything we need, we already have. We don't think it in our subconscious programming. See, your conscious programming is your own self telling yourself stuff. Your subconscious programming is the people that raised you and the people that are around you imparting their information into you. We start to think that our subconscious is our concrete permanence. Absolutely not. Those are projections from other people. What you need to do, we Black, we know what it is. It's always somebody, you're like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go learn to play the guitar and da-da-da. What you need to do, if I was you, I would. Okay, so then go do that. Go do it. What happened, Renee? Oh, you had your C5 and C6 fused? Listen. Oh, you have scoliosis too? Oh my, I'm so sorry. Yep, I have a traumatic brain injury too and PTSD. Yada, 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 indeed. Yep. I have a TBI because of that bullet that scarred my brain and caused the seizures disorder. I literally have a traumatic brain injury. And yet God saw fit to keep me here and keep me whole. I have no complaints. I haven't got no complaints. Yes, the weather affects me too, boo. And I'm going to tell you something, baby. In the beginning, with that scoliosis, that rain, whoo, child, that back lock up on you, whoo, baby. But you know what I realized too with metal in your body? Not just rain, Wi-Fi signals and all that. Like those smart meters they put on houses, that took my ability to walk. I was paralyzed for a week. I kept saying, somebody, my kids, listen, when you have a gift, you kind of you can look crazy sometimes. I kept saying, my couch was against the wall. And I was like, somebody put something in my wall. I can't walk. And my son was like, you know how your kids give you that look like? What you talking about, Ma? You sound crazy. I was like, I don't care. Somebody put something in my wall. I'm paralyzed. I can't walk. I couldn't walk for a week and a half. My daughter, you know those little flat, rolly furniture dollies with the wheels on the bottom? My daughter had to put an ottoman on top of a furniture dolly, tie a string to the furniture dolly to pull me around. I had to sleep downstairs for a week and a half. I couldn't walk. She used to lift me off of the furniture dolly and the ottoman and get me on the toilet. I was suffering. I couldn't sit. It felt like my spine was going to pop through my back. It was so painful. And I was like, what is this? Somebody put something in my wall. My son said, you sound crazy. While I was in the house, my homegirl would come to the house, pick my daughter up, take her to school and bring her back. I'm in the house watching YouTube. I see this thing about EMF frequency sensitivity. I was like, what is that? Our bodies, especially if you have metal in your body, you could be sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies. That's what took my ability to walk. It had me like I was, and then I was like, well, where am I getting electromagnetic Wi-Fi signals? And guess what? I always had an analog meter, electric meter on my house. Somebody came and put a smart meter, the electric company put a smart meter on my house without my permission. That's what was in the wall. It was on the wall outside of my house. I watched the documentary. They said, if you have a smart meter, get it off your house now. Not only do they burn your house down, they affect your physical body. When I went out there, I struggled to go outside and look. I was like, who put this meter on my house? When did this come? They put a smart meter on my house, child. I was paralyzed. I said, call. And they said, when you call and ask them to take it off, they're going to try to convince you not to take it off. So help me God. I had to go. I said, take this shit off today. Oh, it's going to take a while. Well, we charge you a little more. Okay, take it off. They took it off. I never had a physical problem again. I never had that problem again. I never lost the ability to walk again. So we have to be careful of everything going in our body. Oh, absolutely. God's touch and heal. And listen, let's be friends to each other. When our people are going through pain, we got to be that source of, you have homegirls, like they say, no diddy. If your friend needs a massage, go. First of all, if you have the funds, gift your homegirl a massage, a therapeutic massage. Or let a group of homegirls get together. Everybody put a little $20 in. And so that person that experienced physical pain can get a massage. If you don't have it like that and you got massage skills, massage your homegirl. Help her get through that pain. This stuff is wicked. And why let your friend suffer if you have what it takes to help her navigate it? We got to be there for each other. One day somebody keep all the kids one weekend so a mother could go to a spa date or whatever. Yeah, you know how it is. We know how it is when the kids get together. Y'all get them crayons, the games, puzzles, whatever. Go down there in that basement, hang out, whatever, or in the living room, whatever. But let's be a respite for our people. Let's be a respite for our people. Wow. Oh, that's dope. Your sister's an esthetician? That is dope. That's right. Your surroundings do make a big difference. And once they put that 5G out in the system, baby, that was affecting a lot of people. A lot of people don't know. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. Renee, we're going to talk afterwards. Everybody shout out to Renee, our first mod. We growing. The Nerd Herd has its first mod. I feel so accomplished. And I love you guys. You guys are so dope. I love it. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. And look, and we're going to make a prayer circle and we're going to heal each other. Just our good vibes can heal. If we're sending good vibrational frequencies to each other, that is healing. And I suggest people go Google a Tibetan singing bowl. Excuse me. For me, I think you should get, now they come metal, but I think the glass bowl, that frosted glass bowl about this size, so it's probably like an 8-inch cake, that size bowl, get that one. That would be better. You hit that singing bowl and run the mallet around the rim and it creates a resonance, baby. That frequency will be so fulfilling and healing to your body. A singing bowl has done so much for me in my life, for my ability to have peace, my ability to feel just a sense of homeostasis. And I'm telling you, you was in an emotionally abusive marriage. Oh my God. I'm so sorry to hear that. But God. Look at me now. That's right. Positive vibes to the whole. Oh yes, binaural beats work so well. They work so well. You should play binaural beats when you sleep. It has restorative properties. It will heal your body while you sleep. Yeah, the glass one is great. My first one was a metal one and it was smaller. It's a little harder to play. You can get it. But I also have success putting water in it too. You put water in it and it just creates this resonance that's unbelievable. Absolutely. Yes, the prayer circle is dope. And listen, I love that we're building a community where we could talk about God, talk about the word and the spirit and be okay. Oh yeah, chakras can absolutely be blocked. So you can meditate and there are specific things that you can do, specific prayers, specific meditations you can say for each chakra. And some of those you can look them up and I'll try to put some in the comments also. And there are binaural beats to align your chakras too. So just go on YouTube and search binaural beats, BINURAL beats. And then when you scroll across the line at the binaural beats, they'll say for different things. This can align your chakras. This one can open your third eye. This one can uncalcify your pineal gland. Look for it. Listen to it. Frequency healing. Yep. And it will align your chakras and heal you. And a lot of times when a chakra is blocked, that means there's an area in your life that is blocked and you need to do healing work on yourself. And so we will, yeah. Asheo, baby. Yeah, I love that we can talk about the Most High and be comfortable. This is a unique thing. You know, we live in a world where people don't want to talk about God. Like, it's offensive. I just saw this thing on one of these channels I watch. I am Q Hef. He does like reaction videos to all these conspiracy theory videos and all these things. And there is some new thing with Coca-Cola where you can type in a message on a Coca-Cola can and send it to somebody. And guess what? You can put Satan on a can. You can put people's names. You can put all kinds of stuff. Guess what you can't put on a can? Jesus. You cannot put Jesus on a can. How crazy. How crazy. You could put anything you want. You type in Jesus, an error message pops up. Bizarre. Oh, Dr. Truesdale? Yes. I will check out Dr. Truesdale. Your pineal gland is blocked. Listen, your pineal gland is blocked because you are using a bunch of fluoride. You guys need to not purchase fluoride products. Also, when you are purchasing, I went to the Walmart early this morning because I needed some more ink for my printer because my daughter had a project she had to turn in. So 6 something in the morning, I was in Walmart. So this guy was in there. Now they have all the toiletries locked up, and they have to take a phone and use their phone to unlock the toiletry case. It was atrocious. However, I needed to get some deodorant. And so this man was standing too. He's like, oh, I need some deodorant too. He said, hold on, I got to make sure I get the antiperspirant. I said, sir, that's the one you should not get. I said, you should get deodorant, not antiperspirant. Deodorant blocks the body's ability to sweat. All flesh, all humans must perspire. That is the way that our body expels waste. And if you get antiperspirant, it seals up your pores and you cannot perspire. Well, when it seals up your pores and you don't get that waste out, that's what turns to breast cancer. That's why so many women have breast cancer. Your underarm is right at your breast. You have breast tissue under your arm. You're using antiperspirant with aluminum is turning everything into cancer. I said, you should get the deodorant, sir. And then there is an astringent called Ordinary. If you start using Ordinary and rubbing that under your arm, baby, odor gone. You put your deodorant on just as an additional thing. And if you eat healthy, you'll also lose that raw, funky smell under your arm. So it's important for us to know those. No fluoride, and don't let your kids get fluoride. Fluoride is one of the worst things you could put in your body. It is degenerative. It will take your mind from you. A lot of Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's, dementia, all that is because of fluoride. Get it out of your system. Also, stay away from canned foods. You remember when canned foods, the inside of the can, if you snatch the label off the outside of a can, you see how that metal looks, that kind of brownish copper, kind of tan, brownish copper metal, grayish brown metal. If you now, and then inside the can looked just like the outside of the can when we were growing up. Now, when you buy a canned item, it has that kind of it looks almost like a rubberized kind of grayish brown hue of a thing lining on the inside of the can. It has, some of them have like an off-whitish finish. You know what that is? That is synthetic estrogen. They are lining the inside of cans with synthetic estrogen. That is why we have the advent of so much, and no judgment to anyone who's gay, homosexual, gender identity, differences, nuances, whatever. No, I'm not criticizing anyone. What I'm telling you is when they started lining the cans of food with synthetic estrogen, it started to effeminize boys like crazy. Everything in this world is flipped. A lot of these problems we have, they are doing it to us. Please understand that. Glycolic acid toner, that's right. That's right. Me either. I don't eat canned food. Nope. I can't rock with it. I don't. And the unfortunate thing is that you should have a bug out bag because, like I said, it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. When this, God forbid, power grid goes down, our American dollar is losing all the value. That's why everything's so expensive. If y'all don't recognize the correlational relationship between all of these countries, not divesting from using the American dollar as the standard in the global world, and the fact that everything is so expensive. I went to Walmart this morning. I bought a pack of computer ink, 2 deodorants, a box of garbage bags, and 2 toothpastes. Can anybody guess how much that costs? Just take a guess. Let me see what your thoughts are. 2 deodorants, 2 toothpastes, a pack of ink, and a garbage bags. Tell me the dollar amount you think it was. Yeah, the border, I made a video about that today. The border workers are on strike as of today. $90, $50, $66, $75. I was like, $75? The lady started laughing. She was like, girl, you a trip. I said, $75. What? Toothpaste, deodorant, garbage bags, and ink is $75? It's because every superpower nation has divested from using the American dollar. Our dollar is literally collapsed. We in America are oblivious. We just don't know. Trust me, look at history. Every superpower nation in the history of the world. Remember they said the fall of the Chinese, the fall of all these Roman emperor, the Roman Empire, every great nation and every great empire has fallen. It's America's turn. America is the youngest, and I'm not wishing this on us. I am saying based on history and based on how cycles go, every superpower nation has fallen, and then their civilization has had to remake itself and come back up. We are at the precipice of that. We are at the precipice of that. People don't see it. Look at the hurricanes. I tell you, my cousin was missing. By the grace of God, he survived. By the grace of God. We have to take this thing. Every empire will fall. It's America's time. But America has imbued its citizenship with this mentality of we are the greatest ever. That's why they say things like, no country greater than America. Oh, we the World Series, and we the world, the most beautiful girl in the world. And we have this superiority complex that is so far-fetched as a nation that we got so many problems, yet we can't see our issues. We can't see our issues. We are on the way down, and everybody else is standing back going, look at them. They don't even see it coming. We don't see it coming. We don't see it coming. That's the saddest part for me because I see it plain and clear. Me and my daughter got a box. We call it the ICE box. The ICE is an acronym for in case of emergency. I got some of everything. I got butane fuel, butane little stoves so that you're able to cook in the event that the power grid goes down. You ain't going to be able. I got all those extended candle lighters, the extended nose lighter. Y'all got to make a box and get prepared. I'm telling you, I hate to keep saying it, but it sounds so, Armageddon-esque, but it's just real. Yes, look, my cousins live in Canada. They get everything done. My cousins live when you're pregnant in Canada, they literally give them a 1 year off of maternity leave to take care of their baby, and your bills are paid. You get paid and you get all full coverage, health insurance and everything. And everybody has health insurance. But when you're pregnant and you have a baby, they give you all of that. So you don't have to stress about, and the fathers get paternity leave. America out here treating us like savages because we want to bring forth future taxpayers for its country. They treat a pregnant woman like you committing crime at work. You got to take how long you going to be off? It's disgusting. And we call ourselves the superpower nation, and yet third world nations have better health care than we do and way cheaper. That's right. That's why our ancestors taught us how to pick a root from the side of the road, and that bush, I wouldn't say in cityscapes, but pick a bush and drink some tea, or go to the herbal store and get some herbs and drink some tea. Go to the herbal store and get some teas. Yes, they're very Eurocentric, extremely Eurocentric. And that's why it doesn't resonate with us because it's not a part of our culture. It's not. Of course, that's why they keep pushing cryptocurrency. Well, here's why they're really pushing cryptocurrency because America has printed so much money. It is literally has almost no value. The American dollar is a joke in the global world. A joke. Ever since we left the gold standard and we went on fiat currency where they could just print new dollar bills whenever they need money, it wasn't worth nothing. That was back in 1934, if I'm not mistaken, or 32. Everything changed. They went off of the gold standard and went to fiat. Just print money. The government don't have it, print money. It's all figurative. Wow, 2 years from work. Wow, look at that. In UK, they can take off 2 years from work and a nurse can come and help them, help the mother. See? But here they treat you like a savage if you want to spend 8 weeks with your baby. When you're coming back to work, I mean, it's disgusting. It is so disgusting. Yeah. And here's the thing. We're giving money away as leverage to control other countries, but it ain't working no more because those countries don't need us anyway. Listen, the people have seen the writing on the wall. It's like the bully always bullying the little guy and taking his lunch money. He gonna beat you up, but not totally because he needs you to be able to carry that lunchbox to school the next day. Well, the jig is up. Other countries, superpower nations, have seen how we treat the world, and now they go into them same people like, "Oh, don't mess with him. He don't love you. We got you. Come join our team." And America is losing out. You're also in the collective. Oh, listen, when I tell you I love my nerd herd family. Love it. They don't even let the baby come out naturally. You're right. You're right. They do so many. Oh my goodness. And I love that there are so many Black doulas allowing people to give birth naturally and have their babies at home. My girlfriend's daughter did it. It was so beautiful. She says, so beautiful. They have the big like inflatable pool that you can put in the house, and she had her baby naturally. Beautiful. And I had my 3 children naturally, not like that at home, but because of the metal rod in my spine, I could not get any epidural. I couldn't get Pitocin. They couldn't give me anything. So I had to push my babies out. Mama say, mama sa, mama makum sa. Totally natural. No C-section, no induction, no nothing. I had to feel every single drop of that pain. And that's why mothering is the most important thing to me, because boy, oh boy, I felt every lick of pain. But then you forget it because the reward of motherhood is so important. Yup, bush tea, natural tea, baby. I had some play cousins from Antigua. Listen, I got some soursop leaves here. I live for soursop. That lemongrass, they call that fever grass. If you sick, if somebody's sick and they got a fever, you give them that fever grass tea. Heal you right on up. I am naturopathic. Listen, I'm the bush woman. I am the bush woman here in America of my tribe and my people. During COVID, I was out here doing my thing. I say, you want me to boil you a pot? I was boiling a pot for people. People are, oh, it tastes funny. I'm like, listen here. Now I need you to get over yourself. Oh, it tastes bad. I can't drink it. Listen, y'all don't complain when y'all, but you scared to drink some bush tea that's going to heal you? Now, don't make me have to get vulgar. Drink this tea. Y'all ain't scared to, but y'all scared to drink something that listen, and lay off the sugar. If you have homeopathic bush, if you have natural remedies, you cannot add sugar to it. Sugar is the leading cause of cancer. Sugar is 2 chemical molecules away from cocaine. And that is scientific study. That's not anything I'm making up. That is, Google it, scientific study. Exactly. And the hospital not allowed. Listen, when I had my daughter, I really wanted that placenta. Baby, they be adamant they don't want you. You know why? Because the placenta has cord blood. That's what they use to make stem cells. They ain't letting you get that cord blood. They using that for everything. It's just like the HeLa cells. Henrietta Lacks. They figured out that this woman's cells reject cancer, and they friggin' made an entire industry of healing. The entire cancer industry and the healing industry and all these different medications are made on the back of Henrietta Lacks. They didn't even, first of all, they didn't ask and they didn't tell her family. And then when they found out, they didn't want to pay. Them people just settled like about a year ago, which is absurd. Johns Hopkins. Oh, mushroom coffee is really good. My sister put me onto that Rise mushroom coffee. It is really good. And you lose weight. You lose weight with it. Dog blood leaves for blockages of, no. For fibroids. And listen, any fibroid, any growth, any tumor, any boil, anything that is like inflamed in your body, if you get a cyst or anything, you know what you need to use? Poke root. Go to the homeopathic store, go to the herbal store and get poke root, get castor oil, soak that poke root in the castor oil and let it soak and permeate and rub it on that thing. I guarantee you, rub it in that spot every day, multiple times a day. That thing will be gone from your body. Gone. No sugar. Cancer is for real. I told the brother in the store, I said, sir, you need to leave that antiperspirant alone. Just get your deodorant. He looking at me like, so the lady was like, yeah, you right, sis. That's what they say. He gonna look at me like, yeah, well, I need my stuff. And then walk 2 hours over and go get some vitamins, talk about, oh, doc, take care of the blood. I was like, cut out the middleman. And you, what? You want cancer and vitamins? Okay. You know, I've learned that everybody ain't my side. That's right. Mullein tea and chlorophyll. Baby, I drink chlorophyll. Me and my daughter drink chlorophyll every day. I be trying to tell my girlfriends, they always say, oh, God, don't nobody want to hear about all that. People can eat what they want. I don't want that. Chlorophyll gets rid of heavy metals in your body. And everything has heavy metals. Yeah, poke root. P-O-K-E. Yep. Soak that poke root in some castor oil and make sure the castor oil you're getting is really organic, good castor oil. You don't want, there's some really cheesy, make sure it's medical and food grade castor oil. You don't want to get that, like a lot of people are trying to take a shortcut and get the castor oil that they're using for people's hair. You want to get natural castor oil. That's right. And get poke root, soak them root in that castor oil bottle. Make sure you get like an amber glass bottle if you can, or at least a clear glass bottle with the dropper. Soak it in there and take out, use your dropper, squeeze that stuff into your hand, rub it on that baby, gone. When I say gone, I mean gone. And we got to help these men because these men ain't going to go to the doctor until something fall off of them. We got to help these men. I think if you're in a committed relationship with a man or you have sons, you need to talk to them. You need to, especially your man, you need to rub his body, be like, what's this? Where you get this bump from? How long you had this? Rub that thing down and spread the word to them. Absolutely. I think we have so much in common. It's beautiful. No, not look root, poke root, P-O-K-E. Yeah, that placenta has cord blood, baby. That cord blood is what they make stem cells out of. Stem cells rejuvenate and revitalize your body. Yeah, castor oil heals so much. We used to take castor oil, in the Caribbean, we had something called a washout or a purge. We took a purge twice a month. You would never get sick. I think that's why so many people are sick, because we are not flushing toxins out of our body. We have something in Trinidad, they call it cool-in water. Cool-in water is another washout. I'm sure, Starlight, if you're from Antigua, cool-in water. What they do is burn the toast, black, burn it, and then scrape all the black burn off of the toast into water and soak the bread in the water. And you have to drink that water. When I tell you to flush out your system, that your skin will be pretty and flawless, everything. I'm 54. People be like, you 54? I had a man tell me, African guy, he said, oh, mommy, I thought you was good girl. You was giving your mother problems. How you have baby young? You have, I said, what? He said, how is this your son? This is a big man. I said, I was an adult when I had my children. Thank you very much. But he just was like, you look so young. I can't believe it. I was like, did you just call me a young-o? Did you say I was fast? He was like, no, but you just look so young. I was like, listen, that good black that don't crack. And you know why I'm able to preserve a youthful appearance? Well, my grandmother told us that she drank from the fountain of youth, and God rest her soul, I believed everything this woman she said. So I was like, my grandmother drank from the fountain of youth. People used to be like, that ain't real. My grandmother died, I promise you, when she transitioned, she had like 7 gray hairs. No exaggeration. And I'm not talking about 7 gray haired. This woman looks so good. I used to always say, oh God, Vivi, well, give me a wear off of your legs now. My grandmother was bow-legged. Them legs were smooth like silk, shapely, no wrinkles, beautiful. I used to say, give me a wear for your legs. I'm going out. I want to wear them legs. She used to laugh at me all the time, but she aged so well. And so I truly believe she drank from the fountain of youth, because look at me. But everybody in my family looks great for their age. But also, I think when you don't put impurities, see, my mother came home, she became a vegetarian and an ITEL vegetarian when I was 14, 12. First a vegetarian when I was 12, and then ITEL vegetarian when I was 14. So no sugar, no salt. So when my mother quit sugar at 14, when I was 14, I quit sugar too. I don't use sugar since I was 14. People I know that's younger than me look old and mud up, but they put sugar in everything. I got a homegirl. My sister be using sugar, which I don't get it. My older sister, she be putting 10 sugars in her coffee. What are you doing? And she's a nurse. She's a nurse. I don't get it. I don't even like the way sugar tastes. It's disgusting. Oh, I got a homegirl that's Geechee's, honey. I got a homegirl that's, and listen, Geechee sound West Indian. Because I when I first met, I was like, are you West Indian? She was like, everybody say that. I love to hear Geechee's talk. Oh my goodness. I love it. I love the accent. It's so syrupy sweet and so authentic. And I use a lot of lemons are great though. Lemons are great, but I use a lot of vinegar too. Vinegar is great for your body. You'd be surprised. I look 30. Thank you, boo. I'm 54, honey. 54. I always tell my kids, look how old you guys are, and I'm so young. My oldest son just turned 35 the other day. My oldest son. My daughter turned 17. My oldest son turned 35 like 9 days later, and then my middle son will be 32. And I got a granddaughter that's 8, going on 29. But yeah, I thank you. I appreciate it. And I feel young, but I also don't carry malice. I think malice adds age to you. It makes your skin wrinkled, and it makes you look old and downtrodden. I don't carry any malice. I don't carry grudges. I let it go. I tell people all the time, oh, I don't speak to, I don't like her. I'm like, why? We fell out. I remember, but so what are you still mad for if you don't remember why you fell out? What kind of stupidness is that? Don't even remember the beef, but mad. I didn't talk to she. Why? Get over it. You missing blessings. No, you got to get out that sugar, Renee. You got to get out of that sugar, boo. I promise you, if you need to do something, take a teaspoon of honey and add it to whatever, or half a teaspoon. You got to wean yourself off that sugar. That sugar is death. I promise you. It really, really is. Oh, me too. Oh, me too, honey. Me and vinegar. Listen, I have a spray bottle. I spray my skin with vinegar because there is an epidemic outbreak of candida in the world. Y'all know people. You ever seen people that have that white hue on their skin? It's like a white peach fuzz. It look like that's yeast. That is candida. And people are having. Listen, if somebody has a hue of yeast on their face and they, hey boo, and hug you, you got it now. Yeast grows like wildfire, and it's contagious. I spray vinegar all over my whole body in that shower. I vinegar myself down. It kills yeast. I ain't playing. I don't have no time for that. Yep. Oh, yes. I have a good homegirl I knew for years. I haven't seen her in ages, but she was from St. Thomas. Oh, it is. It's a cross between NOLA and Caribbean. You're right. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yep, I'm 54. And I don't even feel 54. Now, when I was suffering from all that pain, I used to feel 84. Because sometimes I couldn't make it upstairs, child. But no, I feel rejuvenated. I'm like Benjamin Buttons. I'm on my Benjamin Buttons ish. I promise you, I'm aging backwards. Yeah, I had a Geechee homegirl, baby. When I tell you she was the life of the party, so much fun. And just, well, I use, you can do apple cider vinegar, but stay away from Bragg's. They don't own the company anymore. The Bragg's family. What's your boy from, what's his name? Old, from, see, these are the brain farts I'll be having sometime. What is his name? From, what's his name that bought over the Bragg's company? He is the, I can see his face. I can see his face in my head, and I can't call his name right now. It's gonna pop in my head. Yep, you're right. They're clogged up and they're eating too much sugar. And that yeast there's an epidemic breakout of yeast. I'm telling you, people are shaking people's hands and passing yeast. And then they end up while they're itching all the time. Yeast all over the surface of your body. It's disgusting. I vinegar down. You hear me? Me no want it. I don't want none of that stuff. Listen, my daughter's 17. She's a senior in high school now. She was 16 in the 12th grade. She literally just turned 17 a few weeks ago. And she will be out of my house at 17. I don't know what I'm going to do. So many people be like, oh, I can't wait till I'm an empty nester. Not me. I love being a mommy. I'm going to miss her. I'll be missing her. She was at her best friend's house the whole weekend. I was lonely. Plus, I was going through emotionally. I was like, oh my God, I don't want this, God. Do I want this? Just use the white vinegar, the clear white vinegar. You know, you can get, so there's a lot of different types, but there is I forget, I'm gonna look in my pantry. Vanna, Trusty Dusty show producer, can you come here? The people are asking a question. I'll tell you the name of the vinegar. Yeah. Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom, and no, what's the old who's destroying the world and buying up everything, and he makes appeal. What is his name? Bill Gates. Thank you, Trusty Dusty show producer. See these young people, you need that young brain. And Bill Gates. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom own that with Bill Gates. They use his appeal apples to make the apple cider vinegar. Stay away from it. No good anymore. Do me a favor, Von. Oh, he gonna be a Halloween 17 on Halloween. Yeah, they try to do that to our sons when they have that late birthday. They want to keep them back. Yeah, throw that Bragg's out, baby. Don't use nothing Bragg's. Those appeal, Bill Gates appeal fruit. They don't spoil. They are artificial. You are using, and let me tell you another thing to stay away from. I know everybody wants a bargain, but my grandmother's favorite line used to be, you buy cheap, you buy twice. You go in the supermarkets and you see that big family pack of chicken and it don't got no company name on it. And they got that big yellow sticker with the jagged ends and it has a $5 on the front. If somebody's giving you 12 pieces of chicken for $5, you are eating lab meat. Just know that. We live in a society where marketing is everything. If a company was willing to sell you 12 big chunks of chicken and they don't want to put their name on the wrapper, you eating, it might be humans. There was a movie back in the days called Soylent Green in the 70s. Look it up. And this one man was obsessed. He was trying to get in the factory. They're eating Soylent Green. They're eating Soylent Green. Stay away from it. Guess what Soylent Green was? Humans. They were grinding. People kept coming up missing. They were grinding humans up and putting it and making this meat. And everybody was eating Soylent Green because it was the new thing, like the Impossible Burger. I don't know why. Impossible Burger. It is impossible to make a burger out of all this beef byproducts and fake stuff. Just don't eat meat. And they said vegan foods, They did a study. They said they have more pieces of random meat particles in it than them cheap Guantley hot dogs and bologna. There's worse in vegan food. They said it's full of meat samples. Oh, I say that all the time. Won't he be a monkey's uncle? I say that all the time. Nirvana, did you come down here? Trusty Dusty producer, come and do your work. Yeah, I put white vinegar in a spray bottle. You know the regular skinny spray bottle, so I fill it up with like 3 parts vinegar, 1 part water. Spray myself down, honey, face and all. Can you look at the white vinegar and see what the brand is in the pantry? Thank you. Did you ever come downstairs before? Oh, yeah. Yeah, put it in your bath water too. Yeah, Soylent. Oh, the movie They Live, Renee. That's my movie, honey. Whoever hasn't watched They Live, y'all need to watch that joint. That is the truth. Listen, stay away from that pack of meat that just says it got 20 pieces of chicken and it just no company name. It's just a clear cellophane. And then it says $5. I be seeing people packing their shopping cart up with that, and they talk about, oh, I won't eat no fake chicken. Really? You already are. That's why I'm squeamish about eating out. So all those juicy crab, and I don't care for all. They'll come to my page and say you want to, but I would not eat any of those. Those are grade D seafood. When I say the bottom of the barrel, farm raised, full of bacteria, I wouldn't touch those restaurants. Like you couldn't pay me to eat. I wouldn't eat there with somebody else's mouth. It is that bad. But you know, wherever we conglomerate, they'll make a store and we conglomerate. You got to know that it's poor quality food. White House? Okay, the vinegar is White House. Get yourself some White House white vinegar. I buy the big, huge gallon size. I just buy mad of them. And, you know, I have one for downstairs, mark the bottle, say, well, the kitchen one stays downstairs, but the one for the bathroom, I take it upstairs, put right bathroom on it. And if my daughter or whatever needs to fill from that one, it's under my bathroom sink. You just refill your spray bottle. And I've been teaching her, spray yourself down. Well, so Bragg's used to have the mother in it, but Bragg's is not the original Bragg family. The original Bragg family made that with the mother in it, and it was super good. But years ago, we didn't even know it happened years ago. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom brought it in association with Bill Gates, and they use his GMO apples to make it. It ain't been good for years. Yeah, I'm about to stop. I mean, I was a vegetarian years ago. Excuse me, because my mother was. I became a vegetarian, and then I went to a cookout, and that steak, I was always a carnivore. That steak looked so good. I ate a steak. I was sick as a dog after I ate that steak. But once I got through it, I was back on steak. So I got to stop eating meat again. But I really don't eat that much. I'm very selective. If I eat anything, I eat more salmon, stuff like that. But I only eat wild caught. I don't eat anything that's farm raised. I'm particular about what I put in my body. I don't put low vibrational anything in my body and on my body. And there's also something called the psychology of fabric. We gotta return to cotton, silk, and linen. Excuse me, not silk. Cotton, linen, and wool. The only thing they say, cotton has a rating of 100 and wool has a rating of 100. They say the only thing is you should not use wool and linen together because then they cancel each other out. But there is something called Google this, the psychology of fabric. All these Lululemon and all these, yoga pants and all these, all those fabrics have chemicals dipped in them. PFAS. There's polyfluorocarbons. Those are forever chemicals. That is why so many women cannot have babies. Because in those yoga pants, they put a whole lot of that in the crotch, and it dysregulates your endocrine system and your reproductive organs. So many people can't have babies, but they innate Lululemon. Google it. The psychology of fabric. You need to wear mostly linen, summertime, and linen is so beautiful and cool. Cotton, linen, don't use anything silky or satiny. They have the frequency of unaliving, of death. So you're literally using items against your body that has the equivalent of a corpse. We got to start. Listen, it's cute to have all the fancy panties, but we know better. We do better. We got to start going back to them pack of cotton panties. Save your nether regions. I'm telling you, women are having all type of endometrial cancers and all types of, we got to save our body. You need this body. Google it, the psychology there. They said stay away from, no, they say stay away from silks. You shouldn't wear silk or satin at all. Even though silk is a natural fabric, it has a low frequency as well. Don't wear wool and linen together because they'll cancel each other out. But those are the two best things that you should wear, wool or linen. And then look, they're breathable fibers, they're healthier, cotton as well too. We learned so much. And listen, I used to love a silky top, honey. I love silk. I had a whole lot of silk pieces. I cleaned out my closet because I did my closet over. I'll show the video of that too. But I'm not complete yet, but I'm still doing it over. But so I had to take everything out of my closet, and I have clothes galore. That's that New York thing. We have tons of clothes. But I'm getting rid of so much stuff because the psychology of fabric. Who knew that there was such a thing? Just make sure when you eat seafood that it is wild caught and not farm raised. Because when they put all those fish in one farm raised thing, one fish has an infection, it spreads to all the fish. They're all sick, and it's a pit of just bacteria. It is gross. You want your stuff swimming in the sea. And look, the sea got its issues, but it still has a high salt content, which is curative and preservative. You're better off eating stuff that is caught wild in the ocean as opposed to, natural over man-made every day. Yeah, cotton is dope. The synthetics, they break you out because of those PFAS. Yep. And I really went down to, what is Ditter? Oh, Diamond in the Rough. It's my reupholstery business. I'm a reupholsterer. It's a skill I spoke into existence. I wanted a French provincial couch because I had beauty salons, and I had the regular standard like plastic waiting area chairs. And I just was like, this is so impersonal. I like, grandeur and splendor and excess. And I just want my customers to always feel like everything was intentional, and I laid out things for them so finesse and fancy. So I was like, I'm going to get a French provincial couch, and that's going to be my waiting area furniture, and I'm going to dress it up and customize it. And so they were like, girl, you can't do no furniture. I said, yes, I can. It was like, who taught you to do furniture? I said, me. I spoke it into existence. I want a furniture done over, so I know I can do furniture. They was like, oh, here she go. She gonna mess this up. They was talking junk in my shop. Girl, what you doing? You don't know what you're doing back there? I had a massage room in the back, and nobody was using it at the time, so I was redoing the chair there. Honey, I'm gonna show y'all pictures of my couch. It was the first thing I ever did. People used to come and be like, the children used to come and be like, oh, I heard about this beautiful couch. Oh my God, this couch is beautiful. I'll buy the couch right now. All types of people used to try to buy my couch. I was like, no. And then one of the old ladies was like, you need to make this a business, girl. If I didn't, she literally said, if I didn't see you doing this chair over, nobody could have told me that you did it. And I was like, And so I started getting tired of standing behind the chair and owning the shop. And I did hair for so long. And then I eventually, like 30 something years. And then I eventually, Sheen. Oh yeah. That's the low vibrational fabrics, all of that. And the Sheen low vibrational fabrics also, that they got kids in them sweatshops making them clothes. A 4-year-old made your cute blouse. Yeah, I can't take the karma of just that alone. Yes, the interview is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, you should be able to see it on the replay. And welcome, Tia. Is it Tia or TIA? Asheo. Me, Georgia. I'm in Georgia, honey. Yeah, I love reupholstery. I self-taught myself. And when I tell you I love reupholstery, it is so cathartic. I'm gonna put some pictures up for y'all. I'm gonna do a video of my picture of some of the stuff I've done. I like breaking things down to the bare bones and rebuilding them. I do custom builds too. I custom build furniture. I do all types of stuff, but it's cathartic to me. Oh, you are? You in Georgia, girl? Sure, absolutely. Like, subscribe, share, hit that button, tell a friend. We down the road, girl. We gotta get together and have some lunch. We gotta get together and have some brunch, honey. Yeah, I love reupholstery, and this is my insurance business. So I'm an insurance agent. My husband, God rest his soul, had kidney disease. He had diabetes, but we didn't know how intense diabetes was. His whole family was diabetic. I didn't know diabetes was so, pervasive and affected so many parts of your body. And so he started ending up with, he had diabetes, then he started having congestive heart failure, and all of these are the sign that someone is going down the road, and you are literally a ticking time bomb to your unaliving, your passing. And I did not know that. I thought it was something you could manage and just treat, and I didn't know it was foodborne and all of that. So he progressively got worse. I wish by the time we learned what we needed to know about it, it was too far gone. But he knew his time was coming near, and he begged me to get him insured. So I kept trying to insure him, and everybody I applied to get insurance from, denial. I was like, is this a black thing? Is this a black man thing? Like, why are they wholesale denying? So anything that becomes resistant to me, I have to conquer it. Okay, let me go study and become a life insurance agent so I could see. So before he passed, I kept applying, and everybody denied him. And then, God forbid, I wasn't able to fulfill it. He passed away. A week after he passed away, an insurance company wrote me and said, we can give him a final expense policy. And I was devastated. I said, oh no, I got to go in his store. So I went on my own and got insured. I got licensed to sell insurance. I went and studied, took the test, and became licensed. I said, I have to know what's in this industry so I can help my people. I said, if I couldn't get him insured, I will learn insurance and get other families insured so they don't have to face the indignity of not having insurance when they need it. And I learned everything that I could. And so I named the company after him. It's R Squared True Vision Group, because as a result of his diabetes, he went blind eventually. And he was blind for 18 years. And literally, R Squared, his name is Roger Reuben. So I put R Squared True Vision Group because I told him true vision doesn't require sight. I taught him how to text, and I taught him a whole lot of coping mechanisms. And he always wore shades. Some people didn't even know he was blind. So in his honor, I created R Squared True Vision Group, wealth building, asset protection, college funding, retirement tax-free, protect your family legacy, all of that. So, try to do what we can in the world. I turn everything around. Who's in Hamburg? Somebody's in Hamburg, Germany? Sparta, okay. Come and join us for lunch. Let's plan that lunch. Is somebody in Hamburg, Germany? Oh, New Mexico. You know what? Let me tell you a tidbit about New Mexico. When I was 19, my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who was a savvy businesswoman, called me and said, I have some property for you. I have a piece of property for you and land in New Mexico. And I was so green, like, New Mexico? I ain't going to New Mexico. Give it to somebody else. I don't want it. Like a dummy. I have regretted that forever. Young and dumb. I just became a mother and I was all focused on my baby. Like, I ain't going to New Mexico. I don't know why I did that. It is one of the greatest regrets. Oh, Hamburg, New Jersey. I'm talking about who's in Hamburg, Germany. One of the greatest regrets of my life. Oh, your mom is diabetic? Listen, let me tell you something. It is foodborne. Get her on that. You need to get your mom, research berberine, berberine. She needs to get on berberine. She needs to get off all sugars. She needs to stay away from carbs. That is pasta, rice, bread, anything that metabolizes and turns into sugar. She needs to get off of that. Diabetes is food-borne illness. Get her off of that. Get on raw and vegetarian stuff. A lot more salads infused. She needs to stay away from juices. A lot of water. I'm telling you, please, please get your mother off of it. It is a terrible, painful death. He had a massive heart attack, and he was on life support for 7.5 weeks. And it's crazy. When I first met him, 3 months in, he made a joke and was like, hey, if anything ever happens to me and I can't speak for myself, I want you to speak for me. I want you to be like my medical proxy, and you tell the doctors them. He said, and whatever you want, if you want me to live, then you tell them to let me live. And if you want me to die, then that's okay. I trust you. And I was like, and he said, whatever you do, if something happens to me, don't let my mother have a say in it. She'll kill me. And I was just like, it's kind of peculiar for 3 months in. It's a little heavy. I don't know. I kind of pulled away from him because I thought that was weird. And I learned when my husband departed this life, God rest his soul, I realized that this man was a prophet all along. He literally said to me 3 months in, he spoke the way he was going to leave this earth. 3 months in. And he made me his medical proxy when they put him on a transplant list. He was on a transplant list for a long time. And then he got a transplant. And we thought a transplant meant like, okay, start over. Like if your car has a recall and something was wrong with the engine and they put a new engine in your car might be 4 years old, but with that new engine, your car is brand new. That's what we thought with the transplant. No, a transplant is just an extension. They say if you get 8 years out of a transplant, your success rate. 8 years. I had no idea. We found that out after the fact. He ended up getting 12 years out of his, like 11 years out of his transplant. So he was considered a flaming success. But then the decline started. We didn't know. So please, it was a horrible, horrible demise and passing. Yes, berberine. Take that berberine, baby. Take that berberine. And burdock root, things like burdock root and all of that stuff to cleanse your blood. They have a kidney at the herb store. They have something for kidneys. It will purify your kidneys. And then with diabetes, don't just purify your kidneys, purify your liver too, because all of that is your endocrine system. If you have people that have a very big belly, like a man with a beer belly, that is your adrenal system is not working. And your adrenals are a filtration system. So if your adrenals are not working, your stomach is bulbous, like what we used to call a beer belly. Get that man in your life. If you love him and he got that beer belly, get him on liver cleanser and detoxer and herbs, natural remedies. Please don't go and get on pharmaceuticals, because baby, they be like, if you're experiencing restless leg syndrome, tapping your leg and take this. Side effects are exploding diarrhea, dry tongue, one of your eyes go. Why would you want that? Why would you want that? If it cures one thing and gives you 17 other things, wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. Your mom had a heart attack and a quadruple bypass. Wow. Ketoacidosis. Yep. Wow. Yep. All of those are, and listen, all of those. And here's the thing. A lot of people have high blood pressure. You know what causes a lot of high blood pressure, especially in Black people? Thyroid dysregulation. The doctors will check your blood pressure 3 times and it was high. Then they'll be like, you have the high blood pressure, and they put you on blood pressure medicine. But really, it's not high blood pressure. It is thyroid dysregulation that causes your blood pressure to be elevated. It's a thyroid issue. And even with thyroid, that is a natural thing. You can take, first of all, turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. Thyroid and all of that stuff is inflammatory things in your body, autoimmune things. If you get your thyroid regulated and back in order, all of that high blood pressure and all that will go away. There are homeopathic remedies for that. If you look up Ayurvedic therapies are like ancient Indian therapies, but use turmeric, lemon and celery. Drink that for liver, to cleanse your liver. You drink lemon, if you juice lemon and celery and or celery, make sure you use organic lemons and all that, and juice that and drink that regularly, you will clean your liver immediately. Stay on it. But yeah, use homeopathic, Ayurvedic, and other homeopathic remedies to regulate your thyroid. If you go to the herbal store, they have herbs for your thyroid. I guarantee you that high blood pressure be gone. Gone. You just got to understand what your thyroid issue is. If it's hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism. So you got to know high overactive thyroid or underactive thyroid. And there are respective things for each. So know what you're dealing with. But be careful with these going to the doctors, because every time you go to the doctor and they diagnose you as something, there's something called the MIB, the Medical Information Bureau. And that is why they deny you for insurance, because every single bump, scratch, tick, tack, boil, bump, infection, everything you had is in the Medical Information Bureau, the MIB. And so you could fill out an application for insurance and be like, nope, I don't got nothing wrong with me. I had none of those things. And then they deny you because all of that is in a database, just like a credit bureau. That's what the MIB is. So every time you tell your doctor something and they put it in their system, it's building up a long list, and then they call you a health risk and you don't get insurance. Be mindful. Be mindful. Yep, thyroid issues. Turmeric and I'm trying to think what turmeric and honey, and I think it was turmeric, honey, and cayenne. But don't hold me to that. I'm gonna tell you turmeric, honey, and for thyroid, because I started going through that, and once I regulated that thing, child, no high blood pressure medicine. I'm not taking none of that stuff no more either. But I tell you one thing. You get on that thyroid medicine, you're going to ride that boat for the rest of your days. And trust me, that thing will swell you up like a mudfish and all kind of thing. Be careful of that stuff. Listen, it's not the healthcare industry. It's the sick care industry. If everybody got healthy, there would be no reason for them. Remember that. If the medications healed you, it would literally make the industry implode on itself. There would be no reason for it. Ginger and turmeric are two of the best things you can consume at all times. Anything that lowers the inflammation, like Dr. Sebi says, inflammation is the root of all illness. And mucus is a byproduct of inflammation. Once you get that out of your body, all that toxicity, your body will heal itself. And the thing is, if you fast for 3 days, now be considerate of your medical issues, but if you can fast for 3 days and just consume spring water, in 72 hours, you will reset your mitochondria. Your whole body system will reset itself, and you will be able to start afresh. So try to fast, like even if it's once a month. If you fast for 72 hours, you will reset your mitochondria. You're helping your own body heal. Yeah, we West Indian, honey. We drank ginger and ate ginger like people drank Kool-Aid. I mean, ginger was an integral part of my life. Yeah, pharmacies, they love you. Yeah, frequent flyer list, honey. They love sick people, honey. Ooh, sick people is a business. And I know people that, honey, like my grandmother, while she was a naturalist in a homeopathy, at a certain point, them doctors could tell her anything. She'd be like, oh, I need a pill for my finger. I was like, no, grandma, this is contrary to what you believe in. But a lot of our people are raised to respect authority figures. So all you got to do is put on a white coat with a little thing here and say, oh, yes, come in. And people take authority figures as they edify them like deity. And that's what happens to our Black people. You could tell them something and they'd be like, oh, yeah, when you went to medical school. But some white guy in a jacket could tell them something and they think he's next to God. So you got to be careful of people's motivations. Yep. Put turmeric in your juicing. Absolutely. And try to find the turmeric root if you can. If you go to a lot of stores, they'll sell you turmeric root. A better supermarket. Be careful of I know a lot of people Black people, listen, I can't talk about all these other people. I can talk about Black people because that's what I am and that's what I know, my people. Now, we love things that seem trendy and hip. Be careful of all that Sprouts. What's the other one y'all love to go to? Sprouts, and what's the other little supermarket? Whole Foods and all of their fruits are GMO. all of their fruits are GMO. Their fruits and vegetables, baby, they know people like trendy-ish. And so you keep going to these trendy stores, they just go to a farmer's market, that's right. Or find local, and maybe that's something we could do. We could get together, we can do our research, find local farms, and go get our food farm to table. You always see those, there's always some guy from south in the country that got a truck and he come up and he sell watermelons and turnip greens and this, that. Buy from them. Yeah, no shade to the Asians, but I mean, we go to the Asian market in New York because they want to have more fruits and vegetables and everything. But listen, that's all I see. But yes, I like farmers markets and things like that. And there's strawberry in Georgia, the strawberry patch. That's dope. And maybe that's something we could do. Go apple picking, get together and do some wholesome stuff. We can go to a farmer's market and shop for farmers things. And listen, we make, we would go and buy a whole bunch of greens and all of our seasonings and stuff like that, and then chop it up, grind it, save your jar, save an old mayonnaise jar, old jelly jar, whatever, or have some mason jars. And we make our green seasoning. We make our green seasoning, put it in a jar. Every time you season your food, when we used to go grocery shopping when I was a child with my mother, when I was young, we would have to bring home all of the meat or whatever the food was. We had to wash it, soak it in, and soak your meat in vinegar. And if you are eating meat, any of your vegetable, but if you're eating meat, soak it in vinegar. Wash your fruits in baking soda. Wash them. And we would all the meat we would have, when we come home from the supermarket, before we went to the supermarket, we had to clean out the fridge and everything, make that list of what's missing, what we need, and then when we got home, we took all the groceries out, put them away. All the meat packs were open. We had to wash them immediately, soak them in vinegar, wash them, clean them, cut the fat off, and put the green seasoning and season and put it in a Ziploc and put it in the freezer. When you're ready to cook, you take it out, throw it out. It is deeply seasoned and ready to cook. 1, 2, 3. Gotta wash everything. And then we have to practice those things of doing it soon as we bring it home. So that way you're not sticking all these commercial package, dirty containers and this, that in your fridge and in your freezer. Do it, put it in their respective, if you're using Ziploc bags, make sure you buy stuff that say BPA free, because BPA is a cancer-causing plastic called bisphenol A. Any type of Tupperware, it's better off if you get the glass that has the silicone top. That's better for you. If you have to use plastics, make sure your plastics say BPA. Don't run to Dollar Tree because everything is $1. Make sure that thing says BPA free. Bisphenol A. Baby bottles too, that's right. Make sure it's BPA free because all those microplastics are going in the thing and they're in our bodies. Mason jars. Listen, my daughter's a baker. My daughter, let me tell you what she did in high school. She's a baker. She sells a lot of baked goods. She has a little company called Fiji Foods and she bakes all her goods. She would stay up all night baking. She would take orders in school, make cupcakes with the most aesthetically pleasing cupcakes with a slice of lemon and a this and that. I'm talking beautiful. And she would sell all these baked goods in school. Everybody used to feed her. She would go I had this bag like a bowling bag. They'd be like, why are you coming in this bag? Why you got 2 bags? Because one was her baked good. That girl was caking. She made these cakes and I bought her a bunch of mason jars. People used to fiend out for the mason jar and she cooks healthy. She uses, substitutions, applesauce, this, that, the other. She used to bake. Yeah, I bake too. But we call her kids baking champ since she was little. That girl could bake her behind off. I'm not talking about no Duncan Hines box. I'm talking scratch. Duncan Hines. She looked like, please. My daughter bakes from scratch. She is talented. That's right. We make our seasoning honey. Your stuff will be so well seasoned. And if you do all of that from the getting, come home, clean everything, break down the packs of meat, separate them into, if you have kids or depending on how many people in your house, if you know, I can speak for Caribbeans, we make big pots of food. We would make big, my friends used to say, my American friends be like, why y'all make so much rice? That's how we cook. We make big pots of food. And so we would separate depending on, like, let's say, okay, well, such and such is going away for 3 days this week, or we would package it depending on Monday night dinner. This is how much pieces of meat you cook. So once you itemize everything, you can pack out, all right, such and such is going to be gone for the weekend. It's just going to be us. The kids is going over to grandmother's house. We package that as 4 pieces of chicken in that bag. So 2 each. You got 2 pieces of chicken for the 2 days. You throw that out, so you're not throwing out the whole big pack of chicken, but only using 4 pieces. You itemize them in bags, separate your stuff out. I tell you, it's super simple. It makes life easier when it's time to cook and everything is already seasoned. You just got to go in there and get it done. Child. Uh-oh, who's a baker? That's dope. Oh, you like to bake, Starlight? Yes, honey, bake. That child, we call her Kids Baking Champion since she was little. She watches all those baking shows and cooking shows. She is organically. And then she is a Virgo. So I don't have to tell you. You ever experienced a Virgo? Once they set their mind to something, I got 2 Virgos, 1 Scorpio. And once they set their mind to something, baby, they going to see it through. They don't shortcut. My girl got a baking thing. Her cupboards, she had a whole section of the kitchen the kitchen cabinets. She has every iota of everything you could need for baking, every adornment and sprinkle and this, everything. The girl talented. She was kids bake. She'd go to school. She was the cupcake lady. She even got there was a kid in her school called Kanye. She made these cupcakes. She tried out this new recipe, made these cupcakes, brought them to school. And then they bought cupcakes off of her and was feeding. She videotaped it. And he was like, oh my God, this thing looks so good. I don't want to eat it, but I'm so hungry. I got to eat it. I know it tastes good. And then she put this thing, even Kanye likes my cupcakes. And it took off because people thought it was Kanye West. And it took off. People thought Kanye West endorsed her cupcakes. And so she's nice with it. She's nice with it. She bakes for my girlfriends when they're having events at their businesses. They order like 4 dozens of her cupcakes, 3 dozen. She's nice with it. She got her business going. She be doing her thing. Yep. And she cooks healthy. Yeah, I like things from scratch too. I'm not particular. It's nice to go out and have an evening out, but I'm not particular about eating out because I know what that back room of a kitchen looks like. Restaurants do some nasty-ish. Oh, honey, my curry. Listen, I does curry down the place, boy. I could throw down. I've had I'm the hostess with the mostest. I love to have dinner parties. My girlfriends will come and let's say their husbands or boyfriends, they'd be like, oh, wow, will you cater? Who catered the food for you? My girlfriend be like, Eb did all of this. And they'd be like, well, what? You got 5 different meats here. I'm like, I did it all. I love entertaining. I'm the hostess with the mostest. And that's what the one thing I don't like about this scenario in my life, this whole case and all this stuff, because it makes me pull away from people. It makes me not want to be around people. But when I don't have to think about that, when I'm in a season where it's not prominent, I am the hostess with the mostest. I love a dinner party. I love to entertain. I have a beautiful dining room, all that formal dining room. We hardly use it, but I love a dinner party. And so, yeah, itemize it out, separate it into containers. Yep, seasoning jar. I love a seasoning jar. Boy, I love it. Your food is going to chef's kiss. Oh, thank you, Black Girl. I love you too. Yeah, food saver, like a dehydrator. Are you talking about like a dehydrator to save your food? That is a good thing. I said I was going to get one too. They actually have the whole set in Walmart. I said I was going to get one too. It's clever. Yep. Because here's the deal. Let's just say you season up all your food and you put them in the freezer, itemize them like that. Let's say the power grid goes down. Do you know how to preserve your meats? if the power grid goes down, you preserve your meats, having them seasoned. When you vinegar meats, the vinegar, when you're cleaning your meat, the vinegar almost starts to cure the meat as if you don't have long to cook. You do not have long to cook. So that saves you from your meat. And then salt is a preservative. We don't want to take in too much salt, but salt is a preservative. But in the event the power grid goes down, you better have some charcoal in your house and a grill or the butane grill. You'll be able to cook your stuff out in the thing. You will cook your meats and preserve it like that. So having everything seasoned minimizes the time it takes for you to get in that kitchen. I could cook I cooks like a lot of people be like, I was always a glammy girl and, in the shop, and people think that I'm like all fancy, but I throws down in that kitchen. Oh, it is. I love having a daughter. It's the greatest thing in the world. I absolutely love it. And she's super talented. I hit the womb Powerball. I don't have problems with my kids. I do not have problems with my kids. I'm eternally grateful for them. I have a thorn in my side bothering my life. Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about. Those are excellent. It sucks all it because it preserves the life of the food and it lets it last. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to get one of those. I saw it. I was amazed by it. I stood there and looked at all the products, studied everything, all the prices. I'm going to get one. Oh, yeah. Vinegar cures the meat, honey. Vinegar almost will cook a meat. If things get bad enough, you soak that meat long enough, you could cook it. It will almost darn near cook the meat. I'm telling you. And it cuts all the fat off of it too. White vinegar. What did I say? She said it was called Treehouse. I get it from Kroger, bottom shelf, the big gallon sizes. Just buy a bunch of them. Keep them in your house. I vinegar everything. Yep. How did you become introverted? Because what'd you go through? I consider myself an ambivert. So I am so extroverted. I've always been all my life. But I also have periods of reflection where I can really remember being a total introvert and I can pull away and go inside myself and I'm comfortable. And so that's called an ambivert, where you have both sides are prominent in your life and you can be the life of the party and then you can just be by yourself. I am super comfortable being alone. And I promise you, I have such a good time with myself. I go to the movies by myself, all kinds of stuff. I like it. I'm great company. So I'm great company for myself. And then I never met a stranger. So I can literally talk to anybody. In times where this stuff in my life is not prominent, I could meet anybody and just be cool. Now when it's prominent, I'm a little more reclusive and a little more protective. Yep, you can. Yes, you can. You fry them meats, it will last so long. Listen, it is. If you have vinegar, baking soda, witch hazel, and a couple of other things, you can survive Armageddon. I promise you that. Yes, you can. And I watched a documentary the other day where baking soda kills all kind of bugs, scorpions, this, that, everything. Well, not the big scorpions, but small scorpions, water bugs, this, that, spiders. It kills everything. It becomes toxic, even ants. It becomes toxic in their system. Yeah, introverted extrovert is an ambivert. That's the clinical name for it. And it's a dope thing to be. It's okay to be that way too. Don't let anybody make you feel like it's not okay. Yep, I enjoy my company. And here's the thing. So bleach, yes, bleach is important too, but bleach can be toxic. So there are other things that we can use. But if all else fails, if you really need to clean some ish up, bleach is the way to go. But I like a lot more non-toxic stuff too, because ammonia also gets the job done, but like I said, both of them can be toxic. But if God forbid somebody bleeds, you better have some bleach in that house. So you're right. Oh, how old is your daughter? Oh, wow. Your daughter is dope. She's studying at NYU. That's so dope. I tell you, boy, God blesses us. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm more. I can be very. My whole extroverted side comes out on YouTube. Really? Well, listen. You got some acquaintances, honey. We start the Ambivert Club. We start the Ambivert Club. We could do stuff, even if we start a club and hang out online. But we can hang out in real life too. Yeah, bleach is toxic. I try to stay away from bleach. Vinegar is my bleach too. Yep. I love being at home too. So many people love the street, but baby, when I tell you I love being home, me too. I'd be so content. I love entertaining too. I really do. I think it's especially when you find a group that you really check for and you care about them and that good people. I love. I love. Yeah. Well, listen. First and foremost, I'm so sorry that you went through that, Fran. But let me tell you something. There is a way around everything. They have everything for each one of those issues. They have a repair. They have a repair, or they have something to assist you. And so, don't feel less than. Listen, you saw me. I've never shown anybody my missing tooth. I don't do it. I think I did it one time. I made a video because one of my homeboys was like, "You need a podcast. You need to." A couple of years ago, you need to be speaking. You are brilliant. You got a story to tell. The world needs to hear what you got to say. I was like, "But I don't want to go." He was like, "I used to have a radio show here in Atlanta," and he was like, "I was like, well, my tooth. After my tooth fell out, I didn't want people to see it." He was like, "Listen, go up there and show them your tooth and get past it. There's somebody out there with their tooth missing, and they need to hear from you." God, he called me the other day too. Actually, he was like, "Look. You so good at disappearing. Why are you disappearing from me?" And I was like, ah. And I had to be candid with him. I was like, I disappeared from you because this is a guy that always said I love him, but he doesn't have the capacity to. I think he may be natural narcissist. And listen, not malignant narcissism, just he's narcissistic. And I don't even think he's conscious of it. But I just know he doesn't have the capacity to love, and I'm not going to put myself through that. So he's a good friend. I can just be his friend, and I'm cool with him, and I think he's a dope person. But I'm not going to expose myself to unnecessary stuff. Oh, what'd you say about your colon? I'm sorry, baby. Tell me what you said. Selfing, insecure about. Don't be. Listen, baby. You don't got to be insecure here. Let me just go and show this missing tooth again. And guess what? I got this thing. There's this, I think it was called Smile Direct Club or something. They make a cast model of your teeth and they can replace different sections of teeth. It wasn't very expensive. You just slap it right in. I just didn't feel like putting it on today. Tell me your colon question. Don't be, you in a safe space, Fran. We family here. This is the Nerd Herd, honey. Absolutely. It's okay to recharge and disappear and come back. But for each one of those issues you have, we're gonna find a suggestion that you're comfortable with, and you're gonna be back to normal. And normal is not even a word I use really. I say typically functioning, because what is normal? I love being at home. I think it's so dope. There's something amazing to it. Yeah, I don't even know. Listen, I won't say he's a covert narcissist. He's really oblivious to it. He's a dope guy. I think he's just not a covert narcissist. I think he's an innate narcissist. It's outside of his control. He's not conscious of it. When I say he's oblivious to this shit, he's really oblivious. And he's still a nice guy. I just know that what I require from love, he doesn't have the capacity to give me. And so what you said, a husband, that's a dope name. I'm gonna start using that. A husband. Ooh, child. Now you done said a whole mouthful with that. But tell me what you said something about your colon. Tell me. Okay, what are my thoughts on colonics? So colonics are great. I had so for colonics, you need senna. Ceres, we have something in the Caribbean called cerasee. It is bitter. They call it bitter root. And it is bitter, but those are the things that's healthy for you. Cerasee is a herb. You make it into a tea. And then also you got to get these tea bags. I'm going to go get them before we go off the stream. You got to get these tea bags. They're unbleached, so they're brownish beige, and they have a drawstring at the top. When you buy your herbs, you also, I'm going to put the link for you to order these tea bags. They're empty tea bags. You're going to take your herbs. You can take a little spoon and just scoop your herbs in. You can mix them together. I have a special Le Creuset pot that is for my teas. It's like a 5-quart saucepan type of pot. It's teal. It has the enamel inside. I use that explicitly for boiling my teas. I pack all of the different, depending on what I feel like working on, for kidney, for liver, for this, for that, for your skin, for fibroid, for anything. I pack them all. I put turmeric in it. Sometimes I put 2. I put star anise in it. I put you got to use clove. Clove is great. If you ever have a toothache, go in your cabinet and get some cloves and stick them in that area, baby. Suck that clove juice, gone. There is no Amasol or anything that could take away your tooth pain like a clove. Also, so for colonic, you need Senapod. Senapod flushes your colon and flushes you out clean. And all these other herbs, they all work in tandem. Fill that little bag, make a tea, drink that water. I don't mean like put it in the thing and take some hot water and pour it over. I mean, put it in the pot of hot water. Put it in a pot of water and boil it. And you should not be using any sink water to make your anything. Buy extra bottles of spring water and pour water from a spring water bottle, a gallon's a bottle, and boil your rice, boil your whatever you make in pasta. Pour that water from a spring water. We don't use sink water for anything for cooking. I don't use sink water for anything. I do not boil anything I'm going to consume in no sink water. I even have a kettle. I have an electric kettle. We only pour water from spring water into that kettle and boil tea. But colonics are great because they flush out the 4 cold chambers of your colon. Your colon is very long. And sometimes you will flush out one section and not the other. Colonics are great. And listen, when I tell you they clean you out, I remember the first time I had a colonic, I hadn't eaten corn in years. I could not believe, and you could see the tube, I couldn't believe the amount of corn in it. I was like, where's this corn coming from? I didn't eat corn in ages, but it was corn in there. It flushes you out. Your cloves you should be eating cloves. You should also be putting cloves in your tea. Listen, I get cerasee and senna. Yup. You know, girl. Cerasee is bitter honey, but let me tell you something. Excellent for your intestines. For your colon, wash you out. Yep. Oh, yes, you're supposed to be here, baby. We all supposed to be here. Yeah, get you some cloves. Baby, listen, you're going to get over that toothache with them cloves. I be putting cloves, and it goes away. And you should also, so here's another thing everybody should stop doing. Antibiotics, stop taking antibiotics. If you use Listerine, stop it. Listerine destroys your gut microbiome. All illness starts and good health starts and ends in your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome is your second brain. They say if you use Listerine, it kills all of your good bacteria. And so you will never be healthy. Never. You have to get off of Listerine totally. And also antibiotics, every time you have to take a treatment of antibiotics, it takes your gut microbiome 8 years to cycle through and heal itself. You see, if you take antibiotics, it causes a yeast infection. It is because it makes an overgrowth of bad bacteria. Get off of antibiotics. The only antibiotic you need is a homeopathic, oregano oil. Take oregano oil. It has a medicine dropper. You pull out some, bloop, 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 in 2 ounces of water. You can rinse your mouth with that oregano oil, and you can also drink oregano oil. Baby, you drink that oregano oil, your body... Look at my skin. I'm 54. I'm telling you. It's good chatting with you guys too. Good night. I'm going to get off of here too, child. But yes, cloves for tooth pain, halitosis, everything. And make sure we scrub in our tongues with the tongue scraper because a lot of times people have leftover stuff on their tongue. Good night, all y'all. I love y'all. Nerd herd, we shall reunite. A mouthwash substitute is oregano oil. Put some oregano oil in water. And prednisone is the devil. I know. It swells you up. My son had bad asthma, and they gave him prednisone. He's a big guy now. But he's coming down, actually. It was the prednisone. It swells you up. Yeah, the weight gain is terrible. It really, really is. But you can once you purify your system and cleanse with all those herbs, you can reverse it. Good night, you guys. I love you so much. Yeah, bitters are great for the body. Sleep well, guys. Rest comfortably. Put on those binaural beats on your TV. Search YouTube on your TV. Put on binaural beats or high frequency and rest to that. We did 4 hours. My goodness. I love y'all. See y'all soon. Nighty night, everybody. I'm going to start going live more often. I'm going to start going live. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sleep well. We'll exchange information, guys. Good night, nerd herd. Woo-woo!